Story intro, story prologue. 0 ideas. Too many tabs. The team builder's open. The clock says we should have been asleep 2 hours ago. But instead we're still staring at empty slots on a blank canvas. Dewif pulls out his notebook like it's sacred. The cover's already half torn from being flipped open too many times. Dewif. All right. Echo. These are the ideas. Echo leans over, expecting something balanced, maybe even polished. Instead, the first page is titled in messy handwriting, Parish. Every line is a different sketch. Jengar Gatatel, Azimuro Belly Drum Parish. Sinistra Hospitality resets. Even a doodle of a Polito with a giant megaphone. Echo rubs his temples. Echo, seriously? These are all Parish. We said we'd try something else this time. Dewif gives a sad nod, flips to the next page, and writes in the margin, Non-Parish ideas, sad face. The chaos testing montage. Wheezing plus slaking. Slaking comes in, life orb gleaming in, Tuicus a tinglu like it's nothing. We cheer. Next game. It loafs around while Chiyu plus Fluttermane erase us. Executor Hard Room. NDD helps it set Trick Room. Harvest plus Citrus actually works. Until Sizer Bullet punches it through the sun. Serene Grace Direclaw. Sneezer lands as 100% paralysis, poison, or sleep every single Direclaw. We're screaming until it runs out of moves and gets walled by Goldengo. Gravity is Spathra, 100% accurate hypnosis at +2 speed. For 2 turns we feel like geniuses. Then Espathra faints, and we realize we didn't bring a follow-up plan. Specs Comfey, a grassy cannon, nuking things with surprise Giga Drain. We win 1 game just because the opponent forgot Comfy's base 110 spa. The next, it tickles an Amungus and we cry laughing. Echo's notebook scribbles. Ditto plus choice band Ursaring. Transfer into your own Ursaring mid-game, double guts facade spam. Regigigas plus skill swap Spiritome. Get rid of slow start with trickery. It works once, then backfires horribly when Spiritome faints too early. Far-fetched at Eviolite, Tailwind plus knockoff tech. We both agree it's kind of bad, but at least it gets crits. Double Coffee Shop core. Sinistra plus Poltchagist. Rage Powder plus Hospitality plus Trick Room plus Matcha Gotcha Spam. The joke writes itself. By 2-8, and the room is heavy with the glow of the monitor and the sound of our laughter. None of it works. Not yet, but we both know what's happening. This is how every real team starts. In the chaos, in the testing, in the what-ifs. And as the screen fades to black after another loss, Echo says what we're both thinking. Echo, okay, maybe none of these are the one, but the team's in here somewhere. Dewif grins, already flipping the notebook to a blank page. Dewif, then let's keep writing until we find it. The origin of 6 Chapter 1. First core, first crash, with wheezing and slaking. We were demolishing our opponents. Every time Slockwing got to move, something fainted. But 2 Pokemon aren't a team. If we wanted to survive the tournament, we needed 4 more partners. The search began. Wolf Glick inspiration, we first looked at Wolf Glick's experiments. He once paired Wheezing with Toadscruel, another Pokemon cursed with bad ability, and it actually worked. Wolf ran a choice Specs Wheezing to make the synergy cleaner. Dewif, Specs Wheezing is smart, but I don't like it. Echo, yeah, it takes away the Slockwing vibe. We're not here for Wolf Wheezing. We're here for our Wheezing. And so we left the Specs behind and stuck with neutralizing gas. Slockwing demanded it. Kilowattrel joins the cast Dewif. Okay, hear me out. What if we use something with speed control and a pivot? Enter Kilowattrel. Tailwind avol switch. We tested the sequence. Turn 1. Slaking double edges. Kilowattrel sets Tailwind. Turn 2. Kilowattrel volt switches out before slaking loafs. Wheezing comes in. Neutralizing gas hits the field, and suddenly Slockwing is free again. It was perfect. Competitive wasn't even the main reason, but it had hidden value. When Wheezing blocked Intimidate, Kilowattrel could just cycle Wheezing out to reactivate it later. The first partner was locked. Kilowattrel was in. The ghost with the flame after Kilowattrel. We tried dozens of ideas that fizzled out. The team felt lopsided. Then Echo suggested a spark, his Zuyan Typhlosion, a fast ghost fire type, scarfed, spamming eruption. It clicked instantly. Wheezing plus slaking cleared out fire resists or baited terrace. Once the field was open, Typhlosion hit the stage and everything melted. But the cracks showed quickly. Hyper offense was still tearing through us with tailwind mirrors. Hard Trick Room crushed us if we didn't line up perfectly. And setup spam ran wild. A look and an answer one night. After yet another ladder loss to a Trick Room sweeper, Duif and Echo looked at each other. At the exact same time, Duif plus Echo, Incineroar, we added it instantly. With ability shield, Intimidate couldn't be blocked by our own wheezing, and it gave us the pivot and disruption we were desperate for. Suddenly, the team wasn't frail chaos anymore. It had structure. The final piece, we still needed another threat. Typhlosion was great, but it didn't hit Dragon's bulky waters or Ghost hard enough. That's when Dragapult stood out. Band-boosted Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, and sheer speed. It wasn't just coverage. It was another potential win con. If Typhlosion wasn't a sweeper for a matchup, Dragapult could take the wheel. The six were set. For now. Duif. So this is it. This is our team. Echo. Yeah. Slaw Queen. Harper Popeye. Typhlosion. Kilowattrel. Incineroar and Dragapult. Champions of chaos. We both laughed because it still felt insane. But insane or not, it was time to battle. First BO3. To crash our first serious best-of-3 one like this. Game 1. Slockween plus Kilowattrel lead. Tailwind plus Double Edge deletes their Garganackle instantly. Wheezing swaps and clean, and Slaking runs wild. We pop off. Game 2. Opponent brings Hariyama plus Farigiraf. Trick Room goes up, and suddenly our unstoppable Slaking is moving last. We get flattened in 4 turns. Game 3. Back and forth madness. Typhlosion nukes early, Dragapult cleans late. We scrape out a win by 1%. The result didn't matter. What mattered was the feeling. The team was alive. Wrong Tournament Chapter 2. The wrong tournament, it was a Saturday. A tournament marathon on Pokemon Showdown. Endless brackets all day long. Finishing with a Reg H event. Perfect practice for our Slaw Queen squad. Duif and Echo logged in, joined the VGC chat room, and clicked sign up. Then we saw the text, VGC 2018. Duif. Echo. We may have signed up for the wrong tournament. We both burst out laughing. Checking the schedule confirmed it. Reg H wasn't until after this one. But hey, we were already in, and we had James Beck's Toronto winning team saved in the builder. Echo. Well, I helped build this once. Want to see if it still works. Duif. When in doubt, Mega Gengar. And so, without a single line of prep, we entered a Gen 7 bracket armed with a championship team from 2018. The quick rounds. Round 1, we fumbled the terrain wars, forgot about Z-moves, and still won. Round 2, opponent blew a Z-move on Protect. Mega Gengar Trapidra, como Clenid. Round 3, Azumarill finally got his belly drum sweep, and we celebrated like it was nationals. 3 matches later, we were somehow in the semifinals. Semifinals versus Emperor Icy their team. Kangaskhan Landorus T. Heatran, Cresselia Tapu Fini Kartana. Our team, Mega Gengar Kamao Tapu Bulu, Incineroar Azumarill Clefairy. Turn 1, we lead Gengar plus Incineroar into Landorus plus Kartana. Mega Gengar evolves, traps him in, and protects. Incineroar eats a Rock Slide plus Sacred Sword, but knocks Landorus Choice Scarf off. Echo. That's huge. No more Scarf flinches. Turn 2. We pivot Incineroar into Tapu Bulu, summoning grassy terrain. Kartana protects. Jenga Shadow Boys Landorus. Go. Tapu Fini comes in. Turn 3. Tapu Fini protects. Bulu throws out a superpower, crushing Kartana for 82%. Gengar sludge bombs into the shield. Kartana fires its Z-move into Gengar. Only 46%. Turn 4. Bulu finishes Kartana. Gengar poisons Fini for a one-shot. In one turn, their board collapses. Turn 5, 6. Cresselia comes out, but can't stop the momentum. Incineroar pivots, Jengar shadow balls, Bulu with hammers, clean 2-0 sweep. Duif, we just mega Jengar Cresselia. What year is this again? Echo, 2018 apparently. Victory screen. Dick Duif won the battle. And just like that, from chaos to finals, we were one set away from winning a Gen 7 tournament we never meant to enter. Chapter 2. The wrong tournament the bracket had thinned down. Somehow, against all odds, Duif and Echo had stumbled into the finals of a Gen 7 VGC 2018 tournament. Not with practice, not with prep, with James Beck's old Toronto winning team, and a lot of laughing in between turns. Echo, we're one set away from winning a tournament we didn't mean to enter. Duif, grinning, I guess history repeats itself. The finals began. Opponent, Fit Avalug. Their team, Kangaskhan, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, Landorus T, Heatran, Cresselia. Classic Gen 7 meta. Turn 1. The double Intimidate Duif led Incineroar plus Jengar into Kangaskhan plus Landorus T. The air was thick with Intimidates. Attack drops everywhere. Jengar Mega Evolved, trapping the field. Echo, if that Kangaskhan fakes out Jengar, we're in trouble. But Jengar protected, shrugging it off. Incineroar knocked off the Heatran switch-in, stripping away its life orb. Duif, that's huge. Heatran without its bite as a kitten. Turn 2. Trading Blows Mega Kangaskhan revealed itself, striking Incineroar down with a brutal return plus earth power from Heatran. Incineroar fainted, but Jengar countered with Shadow Ball, special defense drop guaranteed. Heatran was reeling. Kamo-O slid in from the back, calm behind its substitute. Turn 3. For the Soul Blaze Kangaskhan lunged with Sucker Punch, nearly dropping Jengar. But Jengar clung on, landing the Shadow Ball to finish Heatran. Then it happened. Kamo unleashed its Z-move, Clangorous Soul Blaze. The battlefield lit up as Kamo-O's roar shook the screen. Stats rose in every direction. Echo, all stats up. All of them. This is why I love Gen 7. Duif, this is why I got banned later. Laughs Tapu Fini survived thanks to Misty Terrain, answering back with Moonblast that shattered Kamo-O's substitute. But the momentum had shifted. Turn 5, 6. The collapse fit Avalug tried to reset with Landorus. Intimidate dropped Kamo-O's stats, but the Soul Blaze buffs held strong. Tapu Bulu entered the field, grassy terrain spreading across the battlefield. Would Hammer rip Tapu Fini straight off the field in one blow. Kamo-O's clanging scales followed, toppling Landorus. Echo, wait, we're actually about to win this whole thing. Duif, with Beck's team, in Gen 7, by accident. Avalug typed in chat. GGS, yet really puts a lot of pressure. And just like that, forfeit. Victory. Tournament result. Congratulations to Dick Duif for winning the VGC 2018 tournament. The lobby erupted. Duif and Echo sat in silence for a beat, staring at the screen. Echo, you know this doesn't help us prep for the tournament, right? Duif. Shut up. A win's a win. The two burst out laughing, just like when they first saw the Gen 7 tag on the sign-up. The wrong tournament had become the first trophy of the season. The Practice Tournament Chapter 3. The real practice tournament with a Gen 7 trophy in our pocket. It was finally time for what we came here for. The real test. The grand finale of the tournament marathon. A 64-player Reg H bracket. 6 rounds. Win 6, and the title was ours. Echo, all right, Duif. No more Z-moves. No more Tapus. No more Mega Kangaskhan. Duif grins just Slaaqueen. The early rounds. Round of 64. Slaaqueen plus Wheezing hit the field, and Double Edge erased a Garganacl before it could move. Duif, that's not damage. That's a war crime. Echo, and we're guilty. Round of 32. Kilowattrel Tailwind plus Volt switch into Wheezing. True and erased, slaking free to swing again. Opponent rage quit on turn 4. Echo, competitive never even mattered. Duif, doesn't have to. We got bird momentum. Round of 16, Hisuian Deflosion came in at full HP. Scarf Eruption. 1 turn. 2 KOs. Do if. This team's unbalanced. Echo. Good. So are we. Every round, the synergy clicked sharper. Every match, the laughter got louder. We weren't just winning. We were having the time of our lives doing it. And so, with 3 rounds down and the bracket cut to 8, the real test began. The quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, Chapter 3. Quarterfinals. Comedy Hour's 64 players had entered. 8 remained. Doif and Echo sat at their screens, tired but giddy. Echo, quarterfinals. This is where we get serious. Doif, yeah, totally. Serious. Snickers. Okay, but actually, if Sloqueen drowns in rain, I'm blaming you. Their opponent, a hard rain team. Polyper, Barrascuda, Amungus, Garridos, Goldingo, and Arcanine. The weather wars were about to begin. Game 1 Doif locked in Sloqueen plus Kilowattrel. Opponent led Polyper plus Barrascuda. Echo, nice. Free buffet for double edge. Doif, yeah, unless Barrascuda's secretly a speedboat with a knife. Turn 1. Kilowattrel sets Tailwind. Barrascuda targets Slaking, barely chunking thanks to bulk. Slaking retaliates with a life orb double edge. OH Gale on Barrascuda. Polyper scalds into Sloqueen, leaving it dented but alive. Doif, that's a Sloqueen sweepstakes. 1 ticket, 1 death. Echo, she doesn't loaf. She eats. Turn 2. Kilowattrel volt switches out into Wheezing. Neutralizing gas floods a field. Truant is gone. Slaking swings again, deleting Polyper before it can reset weather. Then, cancelled. The opponent brought in Garridos plus Goldingo, desperate to recover momentum. But neutralizing gas shut down Intimidate. Kilowattrel returned, and Dragapult mopped up the endgame with Dragon Darts. Result, 1-0 lead. Game 2 opponent adjusted with a Mungus plus Garridos lead. Sloqueen immediately targeted a Mungus, but survived with a Citrus Berry. Spore was incoming. Echo, Sleep Clause doesn't exist here, right? Doif, don't you dare jinx us. Wheezing swapped in, blocking Spore. Sloqueen cleaned up a Mungus. From there, the momentum snowballed. Kilowattrel set Tailwind. Typhlosion switched in, and Scarf Eruption under Tailwind burned through the last 3 Mons. Result, 2-0 sweep. After the set victory screen, Doif leaned back in his chair, smirking. Doif, quarterfinals done. We basically drowned them with our own gas. Echo, that's the worst joke you've ever made. And I respect it. The scoreboard ticked forward. For remained, semifinals awaited. Chapter 3, semifinals. Birds, bears, and banter 4 players left. The air was tense. Well, tense for them. Doif and Echo, still laughing like it was a showdown ladder night. Echo, top 4. This is where champions are forged. Doif snorts, or where Sloqueen just trips over Trick Room. Their opponent, a classic Trick Room squad, Oranguru, Ursaring, Hatterene, Torkoal, Hariyama, and Farigiraf. Bulky, slow, and terrifying if they got Trick Room up. Game 1 opponent leads Oranguru plus Ursaring. Doif locks Sloqueen plus Wheezing. Turn 1. Ursaring activates Flame, Orb, Guts Boost. Oranguru goes for Trick Room. Slaking lands a massive double edge into Oranguru, but hangs on. Wheezing's neutralizing gas erases Guts for a turn. Doif, no Guts, no Glory. Hecho, no Guts, no kills. Turn 2. Oranguru flinches from fake-out support in the back. Slaking finishes it with high horsepower. Trick Room denied. Ursaring swings into Sloqueen anyway, nearly coing through life orb recoil. Echo, Sloqueen lives on 1 HP, like a true queen. Doif, give her a crown already. From there, Kilowattrel brought Tailwind, and Typhlosion erupted the board. 1-0 lead. Game 2 opponent adjusts, leads Hariyama plus Hatterene. Trick Room goes up this time. Ursaring crashes in, coing Sloqueen with Facade. Doif, well, she lived like a queen, and died like one. Echo, screaming at her subjects? Doif, laughing exactly. With room active, Torkoal joins and heat waves everything. We can't recover. 1-1. Game 3 the decider. We open with Kilowattrel plus Wheezing. Opponent goes Oranguru plus Ursaring again. Turn 1. Kilowattrel tailwinds. Wheezing taunts Oranguru. Trick Room blocked. Ursaring Facade chunks Wheezing, but fails to KO. Echo, neutralizing gas, taunt Tailwind. This is control at its finest. Doif, this is crime at its finest. Turn 2. Volt switch into Slockween. Neutralizing gas activates again. Double Edge deletes Ursaring instantly. From there, Trick Room never went up. Typhlosion clean with Eruption. Dragapult close with Dragon Darts. 2-1 victory. After the set top cut final screen. Doif, finals. You ready? Echo, serious for once, yeah. No more jokes. Doif, wait, are you telling me to lock in? Echo, exactly. Lock in. The tone shifted. What started as laughter and chaos had sharpened into focus. The finals awaited. Chapter 3. Finals. The rival appears a chat scroll with names. Only 2 were left. Chapter 3. Finals. The rival appears a chat scroll with names. Only 2 were left. Doif. Finals. Time to clown our way to another trophy. Echo. Unless this guy's a Trick Room player. The bracket revealed the opponent's name. Atlas. No faith. No emotes. Just silence. Their team appeared. Oranguru, Ursaring, Kingambit, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Armarouge. Bulky. Balanced. Every slot had a purpose. Echo. Yep. Trick Room balance. We're in for it. Doif. Buffed. Balance is just code for boring. Watch this. Game 1. Clutch Chaos Doif led Slockween plus Kilowattrel. Atlas open with Oranguru plus Ursaring. Turn 1. Tailwind plus Double Edge chunked Oranguru low, stopping an immediate Trick Room. Turn 2. Atlas stall with Protect, but Doif pressed forward. Eventually, Dragapult found itself staring down a weakened Kingambit plus Amoonguss. 1 Dragon Darts later, it clutched the win. Result, 1-0 Doif. Doif, see? Easy. Echo, that was not easy. That was held together with duct tape and hope. Game 2. The punishment Atlas adjusted. Amoonguss led. Trick Room went up uncontested. Ursaring, boosted by Flame Orb, crushed Slockween in 1 hit. Kingambit cleaned up under room, and Armarouge calm-minded for style points. Result, 1-1. Echo? Okay, no more jokes. Doif, serious now, yeah. Lock in. Game 3. Rivals Edge leads. Slockween plus Wheezing into Oranguru plus Ursaring. Turn 1. Wheezing taunts Oranguru. Slaking Double Edges Ursaring massive damage, but not a KO. Ursaring retaliates with Facade, trading blow for blow. Turn 2. Oranguru survives long enough to get Trick Room up through taunt timing. Amoonguss enters, Spore lands. Suddenly, momentum flips. Turn 3. For under room, Kingambit and Armarouge shine. Slockween falls asleep. Typhlosion never gets its eruption. Dragapult feints to Sucker Punch. Within 4 turns, the board is empty. Atlas wins. Result, 2-1 Atlas. The victory screen popped up. Congratulations to Atlas for winning the VGC 2025 Reg H tournament. For a moment, silence. Then a message in chat. Atlas, see you at the real tournament. Echo leaned back, exhaling. Echo, we got a rival now. Doif stared at the words. No smile this time. Doif. And we got work to do. Training Arc Chapter 4. The training arc the finals lost to Atlas stung. Not in a bad way. In the way that makes you sit up straighter. After the match, the call went quiet. Echo, we could have had it. Doif. Size, yeah, but we didn't. Echo. So, training arc? Doif. Grinning again. Training arc. Montage of the grind. Day 1. Slockween misses a KO Los and gets OH KO'd back. Echo. We should EV her to survive that. Doif. Or just EV her to stop loafing. Day 2. Typhlosion comes in at half HP. Fires off a weak eruption. Does 20%. Do if. That was less eruption, more candlelight. Echo. Wax off, not wax on. Day 3. Incineroar spams parting shot and pivots perfectly. Echo. Hades is carrying right now. Do if. Finally, someone's doing their job on this team. Day 4. Kilowattrel gets an Intimidate proc, competitive boost, and OH Gales and Ursaring. Do if. Bird just beat Bear. That's nature, baby. Echo. Darwin would be proud. Running gag. Last game. Every night ended the same way. Do if. All right, this is the last game before bed. Echo. You said that 3 games ago. Do if. Okay, but for real this time. 12 games later. Echo. Sun's coming up, do if. Do if. Training arc, baby. Rival sightings every so often. Atlas appeared on ladder. Silent, methodical, just like in the finals. Sometimes we beat him. Sometimes he beat us. After one nail-biter, he only typed, Atlas, better, and logged off. It lit a fire. The click one night. 2 a.m. Streak after streak. Slockween owing everything in sight. Typhlosion erupting on full HP. Dragapult cleaning every endgame. We sat back, finally breathing. Do if. Echo. This isn't chaos anymore. This is a team. Echo. Yeah, and Atlas is going to hate it. The grind was done. The tournament was next. But here's the team that we are bringing to the Torment the Team. Weezing. Harper Popeye Chapter 5. The team breakdown Harper Popeye. Every team has a heart. For us, it was Weezing. Without Harper Popeye, Slockween would still be loafing around, wasting half her turns. But with neutralizing gas on the field, Slaking's worst ability in the game simply stopped existing. Suddenly, the Queen became unstoppable, and Weezing was her enabler. It was the first Pokemon we locked in, and it set the tone for everything else. The role we knew immediately what Weezing needed to be. Bulky, annoying, disruptive. It wasn't there to sweep or steal the spotlight. Its entire existence was to create space for Slockween to shine. If Harper Popeye fainted too early, Slaking might as well pack up and go home. So the set became a balancing act. Live long enough to keep neutralizing gas active, but still offer enough utility that it wasn't a dead slot when Slaking wasn't on the field. The solution? Citrus Berry for recovery, and a set of support moves designed to frustrate, cripple, and survive. The moveset, Dazzling Gleam, was a surprise MVP. On paper, Sludge Bomb looked tempting for fairy types like Primarina or Alola Ninetales, but in practice, Slockween already deleted them in one hit. Gleam's spread chip was simply better. It pressured both sides at once and softened things up for the Queen's one-shots. Protect was non-negotiable. If Weezing went down early, Slaking went with it. Keeping Harper Popeye alive was priority 1. Taunt was our safety net. Hard Trick Room teams felt terrifying at first, but suddenly, Oranguru and Hatterene weren't so scary when they couldn't click their setup buttons. Volcarona couldn't quiver dance. Kamo-O couldn't boost. Taunt bought turns we desperately needed. Will-O-Wisp was the last move we decided on, and probably the most important. Dragonite was becoming a nightmare. Multiscale let it survive Slaking's hits, then Tailwind and Scale Shot flipped the speed control. But once burned, Dragonite's threat halved. And the same was true for other physical monsters. Annihilate, Kingambit, Dragapult. Suddenly, Harper Popeye wasn't just a babysitter. It was a bodyguard. And yes, for a brief moment Echo suggested clear smog for Dondoso Tatsujiri. Doif just stared at him and said, Right, because neutralizing gas isn't enough for that matchup. When Doif later suggested Haze, Echo went completely silent. The matter was dropped. The EV spread. This wasn't a throw 252 kind of Pokemon. Harper Popeye needed to survive very specific things. With 196 SPD plus calm nature, it always lived a raw make it rain from Goldingo. With 60 def, it could take a Kingambit Ironhead or Rillabones would hammer into Grassy Glide. The rest went into HP, to maximize its overall tankiness. It wasn't flashy, but it was enough. And enough was all Harper Popeye needed to keep the queen alive. The nickname came as naturally as the synergy. To us, Wee Zing was our baby. We started calling Harper. It just felt right. And in Dutch, older folks sometimes call little kids Een Popeye. When Echo heard that, he broke down laughing so hard we had to stop the battle timer. Harper Popeye was born. No debate, no second thoughts. The name stuck instantly. The soul of the team when Harper Popeye hit the field. The whole game changed. Abilities turned off. Guts? Gone. Multi-scale? Gone. Truant? Gone. It wasn't just support, it was control. It let Slaw Queen be herself, and it quietly carried half the team's matchups. And yet, despite being so central, it never felt like the star. Harper Popeye didn't need the spotlight. It just needed to live, disrupt, and give Slaw Queen her throne. Slaking. Slaw Queen, every team has a star. For us, it wasn't some flashy paradox or legendary. It was the ugliest monkey in the Pokédex, a Slaking with too much power for its own good. On paper, Slaking is one of the scariest Pokemon ever created. 160 base attack, 100 plus in every bulk stat, a move pool that can hit almost anything. The catch? Truant. Half the time, Slaking just loafs around. It's like bringing a nuke that only works on odd turns. But with Harper Popeye on the field, that chain was broken. And when Slaw Queen was free, she ruled the battlefield. The role Slaw Queen wasn't subtle. She wasn't clever. She wasn't flexible. She was destruction. Her job was simple. If she got one turn to attack, something fainted. That threat alone forced opponents into awkward plays, burning protects or sacking Pokemon just to avoid the nuke. And when you know your Pokemon might only get a handful of chances to swing, you make sure every single one counts. The item life orb was the only real choice. Sure, the recoil hurt, but without Wee Zing, Slaking was dead weight anyway. This wasn't about longevity. This was about making every attack hit like a truck, even if it shaved off a little HP each time. If Harper Popeye fell, at least Slaw Queen would take someone with her. It was the ultimate all-in item. Fitting for a queen who only cared about domination. The moveset, double-edged the crown jewel, 120 base power stab, boosted by life orb, and 160 attack. It didn't just hit, it obliterated. 80% of the format folded to this button. Opponents who underestimated it quickly learned their mistake. Protect survival insurance. Sometimes Wee Zing needed one extra turn to pivot back in. Sometimes we just needed to stall a fake out. Either way, Protect kept the queen alive for one more swing. High horsepower, the best coverage by far. Normal is only resisted by rock and steel, and this move drilled right through them. Kingambit, Tyranitar, and Goldingo all dropped instantly. 95 base power, high reliability, and crucially, no recoil. Sucker Punch, the surprise dagger. Dragapult was a nightmare, outpeating Slaw Queen, ignoring Double Edge and threatening OHKOs. But with Sucker Punch, suddenly the tables turned. +1 priority, boosted by Life Orb, meant Dragapult could no longer bully us. Instead, it had to fear the Queen's hand. And oh, the experiments we went through before landing here. Drain Punch looked decent on paper, but ended up redundant with high horsepower. Knockoff was cute utility, but if Slaking's attacking, we wanted something gone, not just itemless. Slack Off was, let's just say, comedy. Healing doesn't matter when half your turns are spent loafing. And then there was Yawn. Doif swore by it, saying, "Trust me, I won Dutch Nationals with this move." Without Shadow Tag, though, it felt like asking politely for the opponent to switch. Echo, so basically, you brought Yawn to a neutral field? Doif, shut up. The spread EVs, 252 ATK, 20 SPD, 236 SP, admin. Every point was intentional. Max attack no-brainer. If you're swinging this hard, go all the way. 236 speed enough to outpeat Annihilate and Goldingo. Both were nightmares if left unchecked. So moving first was crucial. 20 SPD, the tiniest tech. But let Slot Queen live a Terra fighting Terra blast from Porygon 2. That one survival flipped entire games. The rest into bulk, because if Slot Queen gets even one extra turn, it's another body on the floor. It wasn't about balance. It was about maximizing the odds that every attack landed when it needed to. The name came from a joke that got out of hand. Echo caught a female slaking while testing. Doif looked at it and said, "Guess it's more like Slay Queen." We laughed for way too long, and suddenly it wasn't slaking anymore. It was Slot Queen. And honestly, it fit perfectly. She wasn't just strong. She wasn't just ugly. She was royalty. The Queen's rule when Slot Queen hit the field, the whole pace of the game changed. Opponents scrambled, protects popped, and every decision felt like life or death. One wrong move, and she erased a Pokemon instantly. She was fragile in her own way, relying on Harper Popeye, chipped by life or recoil, vulnerable to Trick Room. But when everything lined up, she didn't just fight. She reigned. And in our team of chaos, memes, and experiments, Slot Queen was the one constant. The ugly monkey who ruled like a queen. Kilowattrel. Better do if every team needs glue. In our case, the glue was a screaming seagull. Kilowattrel had basically zero usage in the format. No one respected it. No one prepped for it, which made it the perfect do-if pick. We've always had a soft spot for overlooked Pokemon. Jengar and Gothitelle carried do-if to a Nationals win. After all, why not take a chance on a paper-thin bird with great speed, tailwind, and just enough synergy to make everything work? Echo named it immediately. Better do-if. Do-if. Wait, better than me? Echo, obviously. The name stuck. The role Better Do-if's job was never to tank hits. It was there to set the pace. Tailwind turned Slot Queen from slow cannon into unstoppable war machine. Volt Switch let us reposition, re-enable neutralizing gas, and keep the tempo high. Its frailty didn't matter because we strapped a focus sash to it, guaranteeing one critical move no matter what. If Slot Queen was a queen on the throne, Better Do-if was the herald yelling, "Make way!" The ability on paper, competitive looked like anti-synergy with neutralizing gas. Gas turns off Intimidate, which is the easiest way to proc competitive. But we found a dumb little trick. 1. Led Better Do-if plus Wheezing into an Intimidate user. 2. Switch Wheezing out Intimidate activates +2 Spa for Better Do-if. 3. Volt switch straight back into Wheezing, neutralizing gas restored, buff still intact. Echo, so we're literally toggling abilities on and off just so the bird can flex? Do-if, exactly. It worked way more often than it had any right to. The moveset, Tailwind the move it was born to click. Volt switched the magic button. Better Do-if plus Wheezing created endless loops of tempo. Thunderbolt reliable stab, crucial against bulky waters like Pelipper and Primarina. Air/coverage for grasses and grounds, and most importantly, 30% flinch chance. On a mon this fast, that 30% felt criminal. We debated Protect for fake-out turns, but losing Air/ felt terrible. Instead, we gave it Terra Ghost so it could ignore fake-out entirely. The spread for HP 252 Spa 252 SPE, timid. Simple, efficient, max speed, max power, no wasted bulk, because Sash handles survivability. The name came from Echo, and it was merciless. Better Do-if. At first, Do-if resisted. Then Better Do-if pulled off the classic. Tailwind turn 1. Volt switch turn 2 to bring in Harper Popeye, re-enabling neutralizing gas, just in time for Slot Queen to delete something with double edge. Do-if, fine. It's Better Do-if. And that was that. The bird's legacy nobody else brought Kilowattrel. Nobody else believed in it. But for us, it wasn't just a meme. It was the engine. Better Do-if didn't win games alone. It didn't need to. It made the rest of the team work. The bird behind the queen, the spark before the eruption, the switch that kept the lights on. And yes, Echo still insists it's better than the original Do-if. Diary, Misa the fourth member we added, and the one that pulled the whole team together. It took us a while to find it. We cycled through countless sweepers, none of them clicking, until suddenly we realized what we were missing. Raw, nuclear firepower. And then we saw it. Hisuian Typhlosion. fast, frail, but armed with eruption. From that moment, the team felt incomplete without it. The role Diary Meester was our cleaner. Wee Zing and Sla Queen did their usual chaos, disrupting, trading, smashing holes, but they rarely finished games outright. That's where the Flosion came in. A typical match went like this. Turn 1, 5. Wee Zing and Sla Queen mess around, bait terrace, delete 1 or 2 threats, then feint. Turn 6. Diary Meester enters, full HP, clicks eruption. Something feints. Sometimes 2 somethings feint. Next turn, rinse, repeat. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't subtle. It was diarrhea-level explosive. The item choice was a no-brainer. Choice Scarf. Typhlosion isn't the fastest mon naturally, but with Scarf it outran nearly everything that wasn't boosted. It let Eruption hit before opponents could even think about counterplay. And in a meta where speed control decides games, Scarf Diary Meester was our insurance policy. The move set Eruption the star. 150 base power spread fire stab when at full HP. In practice, it felt like pressing a reset button on the opponent's team. Heat Wave when TYPH had taken damage. Eruption lost its sting. Heat Wave was a reliable, weaker but consistent option. Shadow Ball Ghost Stab. Hit Dragapult super effectively, punished Oranguru and Armorage, and gave coverage when fire wasn't safe. Overheat the nuke button. Sometimes, all you need is one devastating hit before fainting. Overheat made sure TYPH could still delete something even at low HP. We experimented with Sleep Talk at one point, trying to counter Among Us spores. In theory, it sounded good. In practice, never came up once. Back to Overheat it was. The spread 36 HP, 252 SPA, 220 SP. Modest. 252 SPA plus modeste maximise destruction. 220 SP outp Jolly Dragapult after Scarf. Flipping a crucial matchup. 36 HP leftover points, but somehow magical. Throughout testing, Typhlosion always seemed to survive on just enough HP to fire off one last eruption. Sometimes it felt less like EV planning and more like divine intervention. The Terra-type fire. No gimmicks here. Pure fire maximized the raw power of eruption and heat wave, letting Diary Meester turn games into ash. The name we named it Diary Meester because, well, we're children at heart. Watching Typhlosion spam explosive fire moves felt exactly like spamming, well, explosive diarrhea. Every time it wiped 2 Mons off the field, we laughed way too hard. The name stuck immediately, childish or not. Echo, so basically our win condition is diarrhea. Doif, explosive diarrhea. The wild card Diary Meester wasn't consistent in the way Harper Popeye, or better Doif were. It didn't always get to do its job, but when it did, the game ended. It was our wild card, our nuke, our don't let it in at full HP or you lose instantly. And sometimes that chaos was exactly what the team needed. Sox, our 5th member, our speed demon, and our insurance policy against matchups where Diary Meester fizzled out. Typhlosion was great at cleaning, unless the opponent had dragons, waters, or rain. That's where Dragapult came in. Fast, flexible, and terrifying, it filled every hole in the squad. The role with 142 base speed and 120 attack. Dragapult is one of the fastest and hardest hitting physical sweepers in the game. While it isn't bulky by any means, its natural defenses are just respectable enough that it doesn't fold a chip. Dragapult's job was simple. Cover the matchups Typhlosion couldn't. When rain or dragons threatened to slow down the team, Sox flew in and made sure we stayed on top. The item choice band. Dragapult didn't need tricks. It needed to hit hard, and band made sure it did. Normally, being locked into one move is dangerous, especially with Fake Out running around everywhere. But as a ghost type, Dragapult laughed at Fake Out. Its ability, Clear Body, normally protects against Intimidate, but on a Wee Zing team, neutralizing gas already disabled abilities, which meant Dragapult's ability was kind of irrelevant, but its stats more than made up for it. The moveset Dragon darts Dragapult's signature move. 2 hits at 50 BP each, and if one opponent protected, both darts hit the other slot. With Choice Band, this became brutal. Protecting one Mon was basically a death sentence for its partner. U-turn Duif insisted on this, and he was right. Just like better Duif's Volt Switch, U-turn had amazing synergy with Weezing. It let Dragapult reposition constantly, re-enable neutralizing gas, and keep momentum flowing. Phantom forced Dragapult's strongest physical ghost move. Yes, it took 2 turns, but it doubled as positioning tool. It could dodge attacks, stall Tailwind or Trick Room turns, and force awkward protects from the opponent. Terra Blast the final fix. Being locked into Phantom Force felt awkward. Terra Ghost plus Terra Blast gave Dragapult a consistent, hard-hitting Ghost Stab that didn't vanish for a turn. We tested Sucker Punch, but being choice-locked into a move that only works if the opponent attacks? Bad. And Slockwing already had Sucker Punch anyway. Sox didn't need it. The spread 124 HP 252 ATK 132 SPE Jolly. 252 attack plus band maximum destruction. 132 speed outpeeds Adamant Scarf, Basculegion, and Talonflame. Critical benchmarks. 124 HP gave Sox the durability to survive a Shadow Ball from Goldingo and a Sucker Punch from non-boosted Kingambit. It wasn't bulky, but it was just bulky enough. The Terra-type Ghost. The idea was simple. Maximize Ghost Stab. With Terra Ghost, both Phantom Force and Terra Blast became lethal, turning Sox into a reliable late-game cleaner. The nickname story is pure Echo energy. One night, Echo realized he could never find his socks. Every time he did laundry, every time he packed for locals, socks just vanished. Then in battle, Dragapult clicked Phantom Force and disappeared. Echo, it's just like my socks. And just like that, Dragapult became Sox. The Phantom Menace Sox wasn't the star of the team, but it was the insurance policy. When Diarrhea Meester couldn't sweep, Sox could. When rain came to drown the squad, Sox held us afloat. Fast, hard-hitting, and named after Lost Laundry, Sox was the quiet menace of the tournament team. The director, every team needs glue. For us, that glue wore a wrestling belt and a scowl. Incineroar wasn't flashy like Sox. It wasn't explosive like Diarrhea Meester. But without it, the team fell apart. It was a pivot, the disruptor, the director, pulling strings in the background. The role Incineroar has always been known as the ultimate support Pokemon in doubles. Fake Out, Intimidate, pivoting, and utility, the big cat does it all. On this team, it had a special twist. With Ability Shield protecting its Intimidate, and with Weezing on the roster, it could intimidate things it normally couldn't. Kingambit, Annihilate, Dragapult. Normally they laugh at attack drops. But when Weezing's neutralizing gas turned their abilities off, Intimidate suddenly worked again. Echo, so you're telling me we found a way to intimidate Defiant, Clear Body, and Supreme Overlord? Duif, yup, Hollywood magic. It was a perfect bit of synergy, the kind of sneaky interaction that made the team feel alive. The move set Fake Out the most iconic move in doubles. Buy a turn, disrupt Trick Room, or just give Slockwing a safe swing. Parting shot the move that makes Incineroar so oppressive, dropping both offenses while pivoting to Harper Popeye. Or better Doof felt like pressing the reset button on a bad position. Knock off utility and pressure in one. Removing items like leftovers, safety goggles, or choice scars crippled opponents long-term. Taunt the final slot, and a crucial one. Without safety goggles, a Moongus looked scary, but Taunt shut it down. Trick Room setters like Oranguru or Hatterene also got stuffed. Between Taunt on both Incineroar and Harper Popeye, opponents never had a free turn to set up. The spread 252 HP 60 Def 196 SPD Sassy. Bulky enough to shrug off both physical and special hits. The special defense investment let it comfortably check things like Goldingo and Deflosion. Defense EVs ensured it could handle stray hits from Kingambit or Rillaboom. The rest in HP for overall durability. This spread wasn't about damage. It was about surviving just long enough to pivot endlessly. The Terra-type Ghost. Ghost Terra gave Incineroar 2 huge benefits. Fake Out immunity, so it could still parting shot or taunt on critical turns. Normal fighting resistances flipped. Suddenly Annihilate couldn't just punch through it. It wasn't always used, but when it flipped games. The name we called it the director, because that's what it felt like. Harper Popeye and Slaw Queen were the stars. Better Doeth was a hype man. Diary Meester was a wild card. Socks was the assassin. But Incineroar? Incineroar was the one quietly orchestrating everything behind the scenes. One fake out here, one parting shot there, one perfectly timed taunt, and suddenly the whole battle flowed in our favor. Echo, honestly, this cat feels like it's backstage with a clipboard, telling everyone what to do. Doeth, yeah, director credit goes to Ensign. The director's cut, Incineroar, wasn't the flashiest member of the team. It didn't top the kill charts or make the crowd scream, but it was a steady hand, the pivot, the support that let the rest of the chaos shine. Without it, the team crumbled. With it, the squad had direction. The director always made sure the show went on. We stare at the 6 names one last time, the way you look at a stage before the curtain rises. Harper Popeye, Slaw Queen, Better Doeth, Diary Meester, Socks, the director, no swaps. No, what if we tried X? Left column locked, right column locked. Echo hovered his pen like a bomb defusal tech, and finally clicked it shut. Echo, this is a version. Doeth, this is a version. We printed the team sheet, double-checked teratypes, took a dumb photo of the Switch home screen, like it was a family portrait. The email with venue check-in pinged. Train tickets were already in the wallet. Alarm set. Chargers coiled. Lucky Stroopwafels. Acquired. Echo, if we change anything tomorrow, it's Socks. Dragapult's already got those covered. The notebook closed with a soft whop. Somewhere between the pages, the nerves settled into something that felt a lot like excitement. Next stop, the city, the lobby, the bracket, the noise. The city felt like it was humming. Not the venue yet. Us. On the metro, Echo and Doeth hunched over a notebook like conspirators, arguing whether Parish Trap 17.0 needed encore, or if that was a crime against fun. A cheerful chime. Sliding doors. Ignored. Another chime. Wait. Was that our stop? That was our stop. Cue the scramble. Half-zip backpacks, switch cases clacking, pen in Doeth's mouth like a pirate knife. We squeezed out with the grace of 2 Snorlax attempting ballet. A kid on the platform pointed at our cases. Are you guys playing a tournament? Try not to lose before it starts, Doeth said, and the kid fist-pumped like we'd already won worlds. Celebration, obviously. Fries with mayo the size of a traffic cone and a Stroopwafel the size of a Frisbee. Echo immediately baptized the notebook with a mayo comet. It's a hazard symbol, he said. Harper Popeye approves, Doeth wheezed. We perched on a bench, greasy and grinning, flipping through notes while the mayo dried in the wind like laundry. A gust nearly stole a page. Doeth snatched it back, almost yeeting the Stroopwafel into low orbit. If we throw that at Atlas, does it count as status? Echo asked. Sticky web, Doeth said. Then the sky opened. Not a drizzle. Sheets. We tucked our switch cases under our jackets like newborns and power-walked in tragic unison. Our Mons would drown before round 1, Echo muttered. Better Doeth learn surf, right? He learns tailwind, you animal. We ducked under a shop awning, shook off like sad growlides, and stared at a chalkboard promising hot chocolate, like it was divine revelation. Time said no. A tram clanged past the cavalry. So we hopped on, dripping like 2 Magikarps who'd misplaced Splash. Fog windows with umbrellas, tournament jackets everywhere. 2 players slid into the seats across from us and kept their voices low. Everyone's prepping Dragapult. Sucker Punch is everywhere. Then we bring taunt. If room goes up, we lose. We traded a glance. The city wasn't just humming. It was vibrating. They're here, Doeth whispered. The whole city is a scouting report, Echo said. Rain smeared the lights outside until they looked underwater. For a moment, we didn't talk teams at all. We just watched Amsterdam float by. We could still change a move, Echo said. Nope. Just one. Nope. What about Echo? Fine. We're done cooking. He said it like he needed to hear it out loud. The hotel lobby was warm and bright, and smelled like coffee. Check-in lines buzzed with that special tournament energy. Sleep-deprived, pretending they weren't nervous. We were dripping and smiling like idiots when we saw him. Atlas stood by a pillar, arms folded, posture like gravity owed him rent. Same steady eyes as the practice finals. He noticed us. No guay, no esmirk. Just a small nod, acknowledgement without friendship. Hey, Duif said. Hello, Atlas said. Silence stretched. Echo clicked a hotel pen, realized it, stopped. I hear a lot of people prep for Dragapult this weekend. Atlas said. Good news for us, then, Duif answered. We'll see. He turned like a page and walked toward the elevators. No fe, no teatrix, just a shadow that kept its shape as it moved. I forgot how fun he is at parties, Echo said. He RSVP'd no to joy, Duif said, and we laughed, softer this time, with room for nerves. At the desk, we got lanyards and crisp envelopes with keys. Someone in line clocked the nickname stickers on our switches. You brought Slockween? We brought the whole court, Duif smiled. Upstairs, the room was small and perfect. 2 beds, a desk, rain ticking the window. We laid the team on the duvet like artifacts. Harper Popeye, Slockween, Better Duif, Diary Meester, Socks, the director. Roll call, Echo said. Harper Popeye, present. Slockween, present and judging. Better Duif, present, flapping obnoxiously. Diary Meester, present, do not give him beans. Socks, present, already missing. Director, present, clipboard and everything. Ritual complete, we grinned like kids. Echo opened the laptop, hovered over the play button. One last game. No, just to check the lines. No, this is the part in the anime where the heroes train at midnight, and this is the part where we actually sleep. He closed the lid. We both stared at it, like it might open itself. Think Atlas plays one last game? Echo asked in the dark. He plays chess against the rain and wins, Duif said. We laughed again, louder. The rain kept time on the glass. Lanyards on the desk. The city still whispering under the window. You scared? Echo asked. Yeah. Me too. Good sign. Lights out. In the dark. The team still felt there. 6 little gravity wells on the bed, pulling the next day toward us. Somewhere a door clicked. Somewhere the coffee machine sighed. Somewhere behind another door, Atlas probably wasn't sleeping either. Tomorrow we eat, Echo said. Tomorrow we win bites first. Duif answered. Silence. Then the city hummed, and the tournament finally felt close enough to touch. Chapter 7. The morning of the rain quit sometime around dawn, traded for a sky the color of a switch screen in sleep mode. The alarm went off and both of us reached for it, missed, and smacked the nightstand like we were trying to fake out a lamp. Up, Echo said into his pillow. Already winning, Duif said. Not moving. We rolled out of bed the way boulders rolled downhill. Eventually, lanyards, bad hair, good nerves. The team sat on the desk in a neat row on the switch screen like it slept better than we did. Harper Popeye, Slockween, Better Duif, Diary Meester, Socks, the director. 6 little icons, each one heavier than it looked. You know that feeling when you're sure you forgot something? Echo said. Yes, Duif said, and held up the chargers like relics. Behold, foresight. We did the rituals. Duif's hand hovered over the controller settings like a surgeon. Echo checked the Wi-Fi he didn't need, because anxiety. Team sheet printed and folded, then unfolded to check again. Lucky, strip waffles were fished from the suitcase and placed reverently into the backpack front pocket, like talismans. Breakfast, Echo declared. The lobby cafe smelled like ambition and burnt hope. We ordered 2 strong coffee and Bruges Kaas, then sat by the window where the city was still ringing out the last of the storm. Eat, Echo said. Stomach says no. Stomach isn't registered to play. You are. Duif took a bite. The cheese negotiated with the nerves. A truce was signed. A player with a plush orangutan on their bag passed by and nodded at us like we were members of a club. In a corner, Two people argued softly about whether they should ever lead Rillaboom into wheezing. Echo slid one of the stroop wafels across the table. For after round 3, when you demand sugar like a dragon demands gold. I would never, Doif started. You always do. We laughed, which helped. The joke made room for breath. Upstairs again to scrape our teeth and doubt our life choices for 30 seconds. Then the elevator down with 4 other competitors, and a moment of collective silence that felt like a hymn. The venue doors opened and the sound swallowed us. Controllers, headsets, threads of music from someone's warm-up playlist. That low static of 100 people being brave at once. At check-in, a staffer scanned our codes, handed us slips with table blocks and a reminder about the rules. Echo tucked us away like a mission briefing. Doif folded theirs into a paper football and immediately regretted the crease. Hands, Echo said. We held them up, not shaking. That was new, warm. Echo said. Like a cozy burst into eruption, Doif said. We found a spot on the edge of the floor to sit for 5 minutes of nothing. The ceiling lights were doing a slow sunrise. The LED ribbon around the stage pulsed in tournament heartbeat. A camera crew rehearsed a pan shot. Somewhere, someone laughed too loud. Somewhere else, someone breathed into their hands like a prayer. Echo opened a notebook to a page we looked at 100 times. Openers versus rain. Openers versus TR. Openers versus mirror. A Mayo comet still cut across the margin like a meteor trail. No changes, Echo said, not asking. No changes, Doif said, meaning it. We watched people stream in. A guy with a custom controller that looked like it had been assembled in a lab. A girl with a Tinkerton charm the size of a croissant. A team of 3 friends wearing matching hoodies that said read and react. Worlds were contained in every backpack. Whole seasons in every pocket. Do we text Atlas GLHF? Echo asked. We can text a wall and get the same response, Doif said. We didn't look for him, but we felt him like weather. A staffer stepped onto the stage, and the room focused. Announcements. Schedules, breaks where to find water. The emergency exit nobody ever uses. Pairing soon. The words rippled through the crowd like a spread move. Echo tapped the switch screen once, as if to wake it. The team icons glowed like they were listening. One more, he said. Doif shook his head. We've trained. We've tested. We cooked. Then we eat, Echo said. Smiling, a buzz went up. Phones lit, the website stuttered under the load, then resolved into names and numbers. People surged, then steadied, as if a conductor had lifted a baton. Doif looked down. Round 1, table 19. Echo checked his different block, different hall. He clicked his pen and slid it into his pocket, hands suddenly empty. We split here, he said. Yeah. Echo stuck out a fist. Doif bumped it. No speech. No new plan. Just a look that said we know what this is. Text me when you're done, Echo said. Same. We stood. The floor felt like a stage. The ceiling like sky. 6 little gravity wells pulled us forward. The baby, the queen, the better bird, the bomb, the socks, the cat with the clipboard. Hey, Echo said as we turned away. You scared? Yeah, Doif said, smiling. Good sign. We joined the slow current of players moving toward their tables. 2 threads in a bright, noisy tapestry. Somewhere behind us, in a different block, Echo peeled off. Somewhere ahead, table 19 waited like a door. The tournament wasn't coming anymore. We were inside it. Swiss round 1. Rain on arrival, the venue buzzed like a hive. Lanyards, headsets, the soft click of controllers. Pairings ping my phone. Table 19, Doif versus Mira. Team preview across from me. Pelipper Barraskewda Ludicolo Rillaboom Golden Go Tinkerton. Classic rain core with double swift swim. And 3 ways to make Slackween's life miserable. I breathed. Harper Popeye inhaled. 2. Led. Weezing plus Slackween. Back. Better Doif. Incineroar. Game 1 we lock in and flip cards. Pelipper plus Barraskewda across the table. Weezing land with that tiny pop. Neutralizing gas floods a field. No adhesive. No sweep squeam. The air goes quiet in the way only Weezing can make it. Turn 1. I keep it simple. Protect on Slaw Queen. Barraskewda's liquidation slaps into the shield and washes off. Taunt from Harper Popeye into Pelipper. If tailwinds are out, not today. Turn 2, they try to pivot around it, but Gas keeps abilities off, and Barraskewda doesn't get its turbo. Slaw Queen steps out of her loafing shadow, and Double Edge deletes it from the timeline. A Judge 2 rows back even flinches at the damage number. Rillaboom comes in next. Grassy Surge tries to bloom. Nothing. Gas is cruel. Harper drops a Will-O-Wisp on it for good measure. From there, the turns get short. Slaw Queen cars, Harper chips and stalls, and Pelipper never gets the wind. 1-0. I look up. Mira nods, respectful, focused. No deal. Game 2 they adapt. Pelipper plus Ludicolo this time. Tinkerton in the back. Turn 1 I smell the bait. Pelipper protects a dodge taunt. Ludicolo icy wins a grab speed control mid-turn. Turn 2, if they get tailwind, Ludicolo plus Tinkerton pressure could roll me. So I change gears. Switch Weezing Incineroar. Ability shield glints. Intimidate still lands through gas suppression. And with Ludicolo's swift swim suppressed, there's no doubling back. High horsepower from Slaw Queen into Pelipper's slot in case they get brave. They do. Pelipper tries to tailwind into the Intimidate drop. It gets the wind, but now both of their physical lines are softened and abilities are still off. On the pivot, I pull Slaw Queen back better do if. Next turn is a bird show. Terra goes to blank Tinkerton's fake out. Tailwind from better doif to flip the speed race back. Volt switch immediately after the swing Weezing back in. Neutralizing gas restored right before Slaw Queen re-enters on my next action. It's the loop we drilled 1,000 times. Win Volt Gas Queen. Ludicolo loses its mid-game. Tinkerton loses momentum. And the moment Weezing is back, Truant is gone again. Slaw Queen checks in and checks someone out. Double Edge and a follow-up Thunderbolt from the bird. Clean it up. 2-0. We shake. Mira smiles. I did not expect a gas loop. That was... goals. Harper Popeye sends her regards. I say. I step away from table 19 with hands steady and try not to grin like a child. Round 1 done. Echo's mini recap Echo. 2-1 versus Sand. Lost G1 to a rock slide flinch. Then Incineroar did taxes for 2 games straight. We eating. Do if. Bird better than flinch? Echo. Better do if better RNG. We meet at the water station for 10 seconds and a fist bump. Wind felt good, he says. Gas loop felt better. I say. Next round. Next round. Swiss round 2, room service pairings ping. Table 31, Duif versus Sora. Team preview. Indy DF Hatterene Torkoal Ursaluna Amoonguss Farigiraf. Full course trick room with both setters, triple abusers, and the mushroom. I breathe out. Feel Harper Popeye's little airlock open in my chest. Lead. Weezing plus Incineroar. Back. Slaw Queen. Socks. Game 1 they go in DDF plus Hatterene. Into Gas plus Cat. Neutralizing Gas hits the field. No Psychic Surge. The corner of Sora's mouth flickers. We both clock it. Turn 1. Fake out into Hatterene. Taunt into DD. Turn 2. They reveal the tech. Hatterene's mental herb pops, ignores the taunt from last turn's fake out window, and Trick Room goes up. Right call, right item. Okay, now it's about living the 4 turns. I cycle parting shot off Incineroar into Ursaluna on the switch. Harper drops a Will-O-Wisp, and the bear's damage gets cut in half. They bring in Torkoal next, but Gas is cruel. No drought, no sun. Their room is up, but it's dim. For the stall, I pivot Soxin. Phantom Force to burn a TR turn while going intangible. Protect on Harper. Back to Incineroar, another parting shot. By the time room ends, Ursaluna is at -2 and burned. Torkoal's eruption is a campfire, and Harper's still alive. Slaw Queen tags in and Double Edge makes the first hole. Dragon Darts cleans the second. 1-0. Sora nods. No deal. Just data. Game 2 they adjust the Farigiraf plus Hatterene. Armor Tail to block priority. No fake out windows. In theory, Gas says otherwise. Neutralizing Gas hits. Armor tail is off. We play the same dance. Turn 1. Fake out into Hatterene. Taunt into Farigiraf. Turn 2. Sora doubles into Weezing, trying to clear gas and reopen Armor tail. Hatterene sneaks room as Harper faints. They got what they needed. Now it's a trench. Ursaluna plus Torkoal into Slowqueen plus Ensign Underroom. Even burned, Ursaluna still chunks. I'm trapped in Protect Detect mind games. One turn I protect Slowqueen and eat a double target into Ensign. Next I high Horsepower into Torkoal, and it barely lives from earlier chip. Burn ticks. Eruption grazes. Not enough. Room ends, but I'm too low. Headlong rush lands. 1-1. We breathe. Mira at the next table's mid-set. Echoes somewhere else in the hall, being loud in my head. Game 3 I go back to Gas plus Cat. They go back to NDD plus Hatterene. No terrain. I refuse to give them a clean room. Turn 1. I double taunt lines. Harper Hatterene. Ensign NDD. In case of more mental herb funny business. Hatterene still has it, but now both are shut down after it pops. Turn 2. Parting shot off Hatterene drop its offenses and pivot socks in. Protect on Harper to keep gas online. Sora calls it and hard switches in Ursaluna on Hatterene slot to swing during room attempts. We're not giving them the room. I Phantom Force. Will-O-Wisp the Bear, then pivot Slowqueen into the now neutered board as Trick Room finally goes up on turn 4 from the Farigiraf and back. For turns to live. We math it out. Turn 1 TR, Slowqueen protects. Harper taunts Farigiraf to stop helping hand chains. Turn 2 TR, parting shot via a quick instant swap in. Harper hangs on it red. Turn 3 TR. Curse from Diary Meester. Ghost-style curse plants the HP drain on their healthy Torkoal. TR is now on a timer with burn plus curse ticking. Turn 4 TR. We outlast. TYPH stays and back at 1-2 HP. Room ends as curse plus burn chew through Torkoal into KO. End of turn decides it. Their KO happens before my last tick, so we win the trade. Room's off. Slowqueen comes back in and Double Edge draws the curtain. 2-1. We shake. Sora smiles like someone who loves good games. Taunt on both, they say. Rude. Necessary, I say. Harper Popeye says sorry. I walk away with hands steady, again, and a little voice that says we're built for this. Echo's mini recap Echo. 2-0 versus balance. Socks did laundry. Darts 3 KOs G1. U-turn pivot clinic G2. Doif. Did you taunt a Mungus for me? Echo. Twice. No goggles. No probably meet by the water table. He taps the notebook's Mayo Comet for luck. I boop his switch. We don't say much. Gas, he says. Room. I say. Next round. We say together. Swiss round 3, Lena Costas. The clockmaker credentials. Athens Open champion. Famous for squeezing value out of every turn and never losing the slow game. Scout matchup. Balance core with layered pivots. Rillaboom, Goldingo, Hisuian Arcanine, Gastrodon, Dragonite, Amoonguss. Our edges. Neutralizing Gas blanks Grassy Surge and Multiscale. Taunt shuts down Amoonguss. High Horsepower deletes Goldingo. Wisp neuters Dragonite. Set G1. Gas removes Surge. Taunt catches a Mushroom on switch. HHP kills Goldingo. Wisp on Dragonite, Slowqueen cleans. G2. Lena tries to pivot into slow trades with Gastrodon Arcanine. Parting shot, cycling plus gas keeps the board soft. Double edge closes. Result, 2-0. One-liner. Didn't expect gas to kill my grass, Lena said. Harper Popeye did not apologize. Echo, 2-1 versus Sun. Ability Shield Cat intimidated the universe. Better do if accidentally flinch the Torkoal. Swiss round 4, Rafael Rafa Moreno, the accelerated credentials, Madrid regional winner. Hyper offense specialist, lives in Tailwind. Scout matchup, Talonflamme Dragaput Melfskarada Garcham Tinkaton Rotomvu. It's a speed war. Our edges. Better do if mirrors Tailwind and Volt switch Weezing to restore gas mid-turn. Terra Ghost blanks fake out. Taunt blocks Talonflame support. Sox punishes with Terra Blast when Phantom Force is too slow. Set G1. He snaps Tailwind, Snipes Harper early. Snowballs. 0-1. G2. We flip tempo. Terra Ghost better do if tailwind. Volt switch wheezing. Double edge erases Mioscarada. Whisk clips chomp. PS loops Pult into sad numbers. 1-1. G3. I taunt Talonflame. Read his Phantom Force double and punish with Terra Blast from Socks. Result 2-1. One-liner. Wind versus wind. We own the airspace by owning the swaps. Echo 2-0. Double redirection. I taunted both. Felt illegal. Swiss round 5. Hannah Saito. The room surging credentials. Yokohama Open champion. Calm under pressure. Pristine trick room sequencing. Scout matchup. Porygon 2 Ursaluna, Amoonguss Torkoal Mimikyu Araquanid. Dual setters, triple abusers. Our edges. Gas plus cat turn off download spore. Double taunt attack setters. Wisp on Ursaluna. Phantom Force protect parting shot to burn TR turns. Ghost Curse on the Flosion as a checkmate timer. Set G1, no surge, no spore. Fake out plus taunt buys time. They sneak room T3, but we stall with Phantom Force protect PS. Burn Bear can't break. Slockwing ends it. 1-0. G2. Mimikyu plus Herb Force Room. Araquanid wins trades who chip. 1-1. G3. We sack Harper bringing Diary Meester safely and drop Ghost Curse onto P2 as room goes up. Burn on Ursaluna. Curse on setter. PS drains damage. And if turn math favors us. Room ends. Ticks finish them before ours. Slockwing seals. Result 2-1. One-liner. When room is perfect, set a bigger clock. Echo 2-1 versus mirror. They're slaking. Silk scarf. Goo. Ours. A crime scene. Swiss round 6. Pairings ping. Atlas phones buzz. The room leans forward as one. Winner's only crowd, but the air still tightens when one name appears. Table 12 Duif versus Atlas. He's already seated when I arrive. 6 precise pieces in preview. Incineroar, Dragonite, Gastrodon, Dragapult, Rillaboom, Goldingo. Nothing wasted, everything sharp. Atlas looks up just enough. Round 6. I feel Harper Popeye inhale in my chest. The field narrows to a spotlight. Round 6. I say back. Swiss round 6. Duif versus Atlas stakes. Winner's only field. We're both 5-0. Winner all but locks a top seed. Loser still safe, but this is a rematch that matters. Atlas ended our last run. If we see him again in Top Cut, I want it to mean something. Game 1 preview. Incineroar, Dragonite, Dragapult, Rillaboom, Goldingo, Pelipper. My lead. Harper Popeye plus Better Duif. Back. Slockwing, the director. Atlas leads. Rillaboom plus Dragapult. Neutralizing gas hits. No grassy surge. No clear body. The field goes quiet. Turn 1, I Terra Ghost Better Duif and click Tailwind to blank Rillaboom's fake out. Atlas doesn't even try the bird. He fake outs wheezing instead. Specs Shadow Ball from Pult follows into Harper. Citrus pops, but the second hit finishes wheezing. Gas drops mid-turn, and grassy terrain reappears immediately. That's the thesis. Snipe gas, re-enable abilities, take over. Turn 2, I bring in Slockwing to threaten Sucker Punch on Pult. Atlas respects it and goes hard Pult Goldingo. Sucker Punch whiffs. Grassy Glide chips Slockwing for free. I'm up Tailwind, but he just turned good as Gold on and parked Gold in front of me. Turn 3, I read Nasty Plot and try to punish. Double Edge plus Thunderbolt into Gold. Atlas protects Goldingo and pivots Rillaboom Dragonite. Multiscale is now active. Turn 4 Dragonite sets Tailwind. I Volt switch off Knight into Incineroar to stabilize. Intimidate lands on both Knight and Gold. Atlas fires the big setup. Nasty Plot plus 2 Goldingo. With gas gone, note, parting shot taunt won't touch Goldingo, so I can't neuter it directly. Turn 5, I need to buy a breath. Protect Slockwing. Fake out into Dragonite. Atlas protects Knight. Make it rain from plus 2 Gold slams my Incineroar. LO, recoil ticks. My Tailwind ends after actions. His Tailwind is fully live. Turn 6, I go for the swing. High horsepower into Gold. Knock off the strip LO. Atlas reads it. protect on gold. Scale shot from Dragonite tears into Slockween, hitting 4 times and boosting Night Speed. Turn 7 with their Tailwind plus Night Speed boost and plus 2 gold still healthy. Atlas cleans up. Make It Rain plus follow-up from Night finishes it. Atlas goes up 1-0. He never had to use Terra. I use mine on the bird, turn 1. We meet eyes over the monitors. Message received. If gas falls on turn 1, Atlas owns a map. Game 2 note to self. Protect Harper at all costs. Deny the free plot, and force Tailwind trades on our timing, not his. Swiss round 6. Do it versus Atlas score. Atlas 1. 0 adjustment goals. Keep gas alive, deny free nasty plot, and force Tailwind trades on our timing. Game 2 my lead. Harper Popeye plus a director back. Better do if Slockween Atlas leads. Rillaboom plus Dragapult again. Neutralizing gas blankets the field. No grassy surge. No clear body. Turn 1 I won't let Harper get sniped this time. Protect with Weezing. Parting shot into Dragapult. Pivoting to better do if. Pulse Shadow Ball thuds into Protect. Rillaboom's fake out fizzles. Gas stays up. Terrain stays off. Mission 1 accomplished. Turn 2 now we see speed. Terra Ghost on better do if Tailwind. I aim Taunt into Rillaboom's slot with Weezing, scouting the predictable switch. Atlas does exactly that. Rillaboom Goldingo. With gas up, good as gold is suppressed, Taunt lands on gold, shutting off nasty plot. Pulse Shadow Ball chips Harper. Citrus pops. Gas still online. Momentum flips. Turn 3, I want gold neutered, and the loop intact. Volt switch off Dragapult Incineroar. Protect with Weezing to dodge a double. Atlas protects Goldingo and keeps Pult honest with Draco Meteor into the Protect. My Intimidate hits Pult on entry. Not vital versus special Pult, but the pivot is what matters. Turn 4 time, the tax goals damage. Parting shot into Goldingo, pivoting into Slockween. Will-O-Wisp aimed at the Pult slot, reading the Dragonite switch. Atlas brings in Dragonite. Burn lands immediately. Multiscale is suppressed by gas, so Burn starts doing real work. Goldingo is taunted and now at -1 spa. The board finally looks like ours. Turn 5. Atlas reveals Terra if Atlas gets Tailwind or Haze here. Our advantage evaporates. I taunt Dragonite with Weezing. Protect with Slockween. Atlas pulls the pin. Terra Water on Goldingo, turning it pure water defensively while still keeping stab on Make It Rain. He fires. Make It Rain into Slockween Protect, and Harper, big damage. But Harper lives on bulk. Their Tailwind is not up, ours still is a breath. Turn 6 now that gold is water type. The math changes. High horsepower is resisted, but Double Edge is neutral. Dragonite is burned and taunted. It can't fix stats or set wind. I Double Edge into Terra Water Gold. Protect with Weezing. Atlas repeats Make It Rain. Harper finally goes down. Gas disappears. But Gold takes Double Edge plus life or recoil, and is left in cleanup range. Burn keeps chewing Night. My Tailwind has 1 turn left. Turn 7 I bring back better do if next to Slockween. Into a board of burned, taunted Dragonite plus low HP Terra Water Goldingo. With gas gone, good as gold returns. No more parting shot taunt on gold. But we don't need them. We just need the KO. Thunderbolt from the bird into the water-type gold KO. Slockween protects to avoid a cheeky double. Atlas tries to pivot, but Rillaboom arrives into my last Tailwind turn. Fake out fails into Terra Ghost better do if. Dragonite, still burned and taunted, can only chip. Turn 8 plus wind fades, but the position's ours. Slockween is fresh, better do if intact. Double Edge removes Rillaboom through the lack of grassy terrain. Burned Knight can't keep up. Chip from Thunderbolt plus Burn Ticks plus a final Double Edge seals it. Game 2 to do if. We protected gas. Pre-taunted Goldingo on the gas. Parting shot taxes damage before the Terra, and forced a speed war on our terms. Atlas finally revealed Terra Water Gold. And we still found the line. Atlas adjusts his lanyard, perfectly calm. Good, he says. Not a compliment, an acknowledgement. 1 game each. Game 3 waits like a coin on its edge. Swiss round 6. Game 3, the judges call for game 3. And Atlas doesn't look up. He listens. Like he's counting the seconds between the chime and the quiet. Like the round has a pulse and he can hear it. I lead Harper Popeye and Better Doeth. He answers with Rillaboom and Dragonite. Neutralizing gas spreads, and the room goes still. No grassy surge, no multi-scale. For a breath, it feels like I put a glass dome over the battlefield. Same opener? Echo had asked before we split. Same opener, I'd said. But I didn't tell him the part that scares me. Atlas has this way of making a normal turn feel like an ambush. Like he knows which chapter we're in and just flips the page. We click in. Turn 1 is polite. I tear a Ghost of Bird and throw up Tailwind. Rillaboom taps Harper with Fake Out for a nick, and Dragonite answers with Tailwind of his own. He looks bored doing it. Like the opener is a box he's checking. Turn 2. I try to move the story forward. Volt switch off Dragonite to bring the Director and Will-O-Wisp at the same target. He protects Knight. Rillaboom becomes Dragapult in the same breath. Burn misses its chance. The position's good. Cat plus Gas into Pulp plus Knight. But Atlas hasn't done anything yet. He's just set the table. Turn 3. I make the board I want. Parting shot into Pulp, and Harper protects, so Gas stays online. Slot Queen steps in. Across from me, Pulp staring down a queen, Dragonite blinking without multiscale. My Tailwind humming. Trade phase, my brain labels it. This is where we take. Turn 4 is where Atlas shows me I don't get to label things. I go for the throat, double edge into Dragonite, while multiscale is off. Harper points a taunt at Pult in case there's any nonsense. Atlas doesn't flinch. Shadow Ball into Harper. It's enough. Gas slips out of the room with her last breath. And in that half second between the KO and my attack queuing, Multiscale wakes up on a full HP Dragonite. Slack Queen's double edge lands like a hammer on a vaulted ceiling. The damage splits and softens. Dragonite lives. Then the counterpunch. Scale shot. For clean hits, loaded dice neatness. And Dragonite takes a quiet speed step forward. He doesn't celebrate. He just moves a bead on the abacus. Atlas didn't win a speed tie or pull a crit. He changed which part of the game we were in, collapsed the setup, started the trade on his terms, and sculpted the rest of the turn around it. It's not a read. It's timing. Turn 5. I bring the bird back, next to Slot Queen. The controller feels slippery even though my hands are dry. Slot Queen. Loafs. Truant reasserts itself now that Gas is gone. My queen stares and breathes while the battlefield ticks forward without her. I try to at least Thunderbolt Dragonite. To crack multi-scale, if nothing else. Atlas protects it like he'd written my line into his notes. Spec Shadow Ball drills into Better Doeth. Sash pops at 1 HP, and my heart pops with it. We're still in it, but the floor just tilted. Our Tailwind sighs out. His still runs. Turn 6. I switch the bird to Incineroar, and press Fake Out into Dragonite. Anything to steal a beat. Slot Queen finally gets her turn back. She can move. She can fix this. Atlas doesn't give her the chance. Draco Meteor from Pult arcs across the screen and deletes Slot Queen before the timeline can heal. Fake Out lands on Dragonite, but it's a bandage on a broken plan. From there, Atlas does what Atlas always does when he's ahead. He refuses to rush. He pivots Rillaboom back into grow grassy terrain, buys a sip of HP every end step. He uses Haze a turn later to wipe away my scraps of Intimidate and the weight of his own Draco drop. Clean slate, clean numbers. When my bird returns at 1 HP, a grassy glide is waiting. When the Director tries to anchor, Scale Shot and a final Shadow Ball close the curtain. Atlas doesn't stand right away. He watches the end-of-turn text scroll out. Terrain recovery, burn ticks. The small math he made matter, and only then does he look up. There's no smile, just a nod that feels like a signature. He didn't outmuscle us. He took the turn in his hands and bent it. We shake. His hand is warm and steady. Mine is steady and loud. Across the hall, I can already hear Echo's voice. Half joke, half promise. We're 5-1 now. The bracket's still open. And somewhere in this building, Atlas is refining that unnamed thing he does, the way he changes chapters mid-sentence, The way he scopes time. Way to show the final version to whoever makes it to the end. Echo, round 6 recap opponent. Asha Patel, Liverpool regional champ. Profile, plays bulky offense like it's chamber music. Slow build. Perfect notes. Then the fortissimo. Team, Incineroar Garganacl Primarina Rillaboom Kingambit Dragonite. Echo, she brought a brick wall and a choir. Game 1 lead. Echo goes Wheezing plus Incineroar. Asha goes Garganacl plus Primarina. Gas kills Purifying Sol on the spot. So no bonus Ghost Resist, no status immunity. Turn 1. Fake out Primarina. Taunt Garg so it can't recover ID. Turn 2. Parting shot into Primarina. Harper Popeye burns a Kingambit that swaps in. Rotate. Echo chains Parting shot better do if Terra Ghost Tailwind Volt switch back to gas. Classic loop. Close. With Kingambit burned, guard taunted, and Primarina force a chip without boosts, Slockwing checks in and double edges the credits. 1-0. Echo. The director did taxes. Slockwing bought a house. Game 2 adjustment. Asha tries Ensign plus Primarina to bully the gas slot and fish for big moonblasts. Echo mirrors Cat. Ability shield intimidates still lands, even with gas up, so he starts ahead on attack math. Key turn. Taunt into Primarina to shut down Encore Paris shenanigans. Knockoff strips Garganacl's leftovers on the pivot. Mid-game, better do if sets Tailwind again, eats a double target of Focus Sash, and Volt switches out to re-enable gas right before Slackwing swing. Endgame. Burn Kingambit can't threaten. Primarina sits at -1 spa from a parting shot and into range. Double edge closes. 2-0. Echo. I'm binge. Yidden. The director did taxes. Better do if filed a refund. You owe me a strip wayful. Do if. Make it 2. 1 for Harper's funeral. He laughs, then taps your switch like a good luck charm. Go get round 7. I'll be at the water cooler practicing humility. They met at the water cooler, like it knew all the spoilers. Echo, okay, we need to talk about that thing he does. The turn suddenly belongs to him thing? Echo, yeah, it's not just a read. He times the phase change. He lets you think we're in setup, then, snip, we're trading on his clock. Do if, like when he KO'd Harper mid-turn. Gas off, multi-scale on, Queen loafs. He didn't predict a move. He rewired the order. Echo, exactly. I've got 2 working names. 1. Phase timing. He decide when the chapter flips. 2. Turn sculpting. By the end of the turn, the board looks like he molded it with his hands. Do if prototype name, PTTS. Sound like a virus. Echo, it kind of is. It infects your planning. You start playing the board you thought you'd have, and he's playing the board you're about to get. Do if any tells? Echo, 3 I noticed. He doesn't finish him on if killing it now gives you the phase you want. He parks it at 30% and waits. He'll hold protect on his anchor 1 turn later than normal. So your break multi-scale, plan fires into nothing. He commits mid-turn switches when your move targets are locked, then uses a KO to re-enable abilities right before your hit lands. Diff. So if Harper's at red, I either keep her fully safe or trade her on my move, not his. Echo. Bingo. We choose when gas leaves, not him. Also, preempt with taunt on the anchor, so a safe protect isn't actually safe. Do if. And if I smell PTTS coming, Echo, break the rhythm. Double protect, phantom force. Parting shot. Anything that makes his mid-turn flip land on no target. Make him sculpt air. Do if. Love that. Working title for the counter tech, Clay Breaker. Echo, write it down. Also hydrate. Heroes drink water. Do if. Phase timing, turn sculpting Clay Breaker. We sound dangerous. Echo, we will be. In top cut, we rename his trick on stream and beat it on camera. They fist bumped, quiet, certain. Diff. Next round, I keep Harper breathing or I sack her on my terms. Echo, and if Dragonite blinks, Diff. I taunt first, cry later. Echo, good. Now go be annoying. Diff. You go be inevitable. Swiss round 7. Win and seed, They called pairings, and the room tilted forward like a flock. Opponent: Sophia Van Dyke, Benelux Open champion, calm, clinical, loves polite pressure. Team: Grim Snarl Volcarona Garchomp Rotom W, Rillaboom Tinkaton. Screens into pivots, then a clean mid-game sweep. Elegant, dangerous. Led Harper Popeye plus a director into Grimmsnarl plus Volcarona. Neutralizing gas settles. Grimmsnarl's eyes narrow like it just lost a superpower. Turn 1 screens. I ask out loud, mostly to steady my hands. Not today. Echo says in my head. Taunt from Harper into Grimmsnarl. Fake out Volcarona to stall a quiver. Sophia nods once, clocked. Turn 2, she swaps Rotom W into the Volk slot. Grimmsnarl clicks Spirit Break for chip. I parting shot Rotom better doeth. Then Will-O-Wisp with the Garchomp that slides in next. It lands. The board softens. Turn 3, she tries to reset tempo. Tinkaton pivots in. Fake out threat back online. Itera goes to Bird, drop Tailwind, and Volt switch Slocqueen while gas stays put. The loop is smooth enough to pour. Turn 4, we sculpt, Sophia says quietly. She leaves Harper at yellow and doubles Slacqueen slot, telegraphing a mid-turn snipe. Next turn a drop gas and open the field. Atlas déjà vu. Not again. Clay Breaker, I think, and break the rhythm. Double protect. Both Slocqueen and Harper. Her phase flip lands on no target. The turn ends like a misstep on a staircase. Turn 5, now I choose the trade. Harper stays in. Taunts Tinkaton to block Encore Protect tricks. Slocqueen swings double edge into Rotom through the earlier parting shot. It's enough with chip. Sophia tries to reseed with Volcarona. The director comes back. Fake out stalls a quiver. Turn 6, she reads a cat and swaps the Rillaboom for terrain plus glide pressure. I answer with better do it back in Thunderbolt chips Volcarona. Gas still on. Wisp threatens Rilla next turn. She knows. We're playing honest now. Turn 7, she commits. Protect Volcarona. You turn Rillaboom to Tinkaton. I Volt switch off the Protect into Harper's slot the director. Then Will-O-Wisp the coming Tinkaton. Burn sticks. Fake out's math is bad now. So is Gigatonhammer's. Turn 8, no cute lines left. Slocqueen takes the invitation and writes in ink double edge. Better do if cleans with Thunderbolt. Volcarona folds. Burn Tinkaton can't carry. 2, 1 do if. We shake. Sophia smiles like a metronome, even in losing. Nice double protect, she says. Clay Breaker. I say, before I can help it. She tilts her head. Name it later. Keep it secret for cut. I nod. Fair. Echo's Minery Cap Echo. 2, 1. Opidwee Zing 2. Mine was funnier. I'm shesh. Yidden. Do if. 6, 1. Phone's ping. Standings update. Across the room, Atlas doesn't look. He listens. The building itself feels like it's holding its breath. Interlude. The hall between the hall exhaled when Swiss ended. Headsets came off. Chairs scraped back, and 100 little storms turned into a single low-weather system of voices and shoe squeaks. The big screens above the stage said standing soon in letters that felt like they were holding their breath. Echo found me by the water cooler with 2 cups and a grin that didn't reach his eyes. 6, 1, he said. 6, 1, I said. We clinked paper like champagne and tried not to look at the screens. Around us, champions from everywhere went soft focus. Rafa talking with his hands. Lena balancing controller on her knee. Hannah staring at nothing like it owed her a move back. Everyone here had already won something. Today was for winning again. A judge wandered past and pointed at my badge. Deck check in 5. Team sheet. Echo corrected gently. Same stress, different paper. The judge said and kept walking. We found a corner table and laid everything out like a ritual. Switch, charger, lanyard, lucky stripwafel. Echo flipped my team sheet over and traced the pen bumps with a thumb like he could feel our month in the margins. No changes, he muttered, half to himself, then smiled. Clay Breaker was hot, by the way. Accidental branding. I said, we keep it quiet until it's public. He nodded, then leaned in. One more thing about Atlas. Of course, He doesn't rush the hit, Echo said. He rushes the moment. That KO on Harper in Game 3, he could have done it a turn earlier. He waited so the phase flip would land between our actions. It's composing. He writes the downbeat where you think the bar ends. Phase timing, I said. End turn sculpting, he said. Prototypes getting sharper. Counter stays the same, I said. We choose when gas leaves, not him. If I smell the flip, we clay breaker and make him sculpt air. Good, Echo said and sat back. Go be annoying. You go be inevitable. The judge returned. We handed over switches and team sheets. They checked teratypes for boxes, nicknames. We signed something that felt official, then got our gear back and drifted toward a lobby cafe where the line moved like a very patient snake. I bought coffee on instinct. My stomach refused it on principle. Eat, Echo said, pushing a stroopwafel across the table. Stomach says no. Stomach isn't registered to play, he said, exactly like that morning. We both laughed, and the laugh made room for air. Near the entrance, a camera crew did a slow pan for B-roll. Cables, badges, hands fidgeting. A staffer with a clipboard tapped a list and started calling names for feature match tech checks. Microphone check. Controller check. Please switch to local mode. Please confirm you know where the emergency exit is. The stage lights hummed like held notes. On the far side of the room, Atlas stood alone, hands in pockets, looking not at the screens but at the ceiling speakers, like he was listening for the announcement before it happened. People flowed around him as if he were a pillar built into the hall. He didn't see us, or he pretended not to. Either way, the gravity of him was there. Echo followed my gaze. He's not scary because he's perfect, he said. He's scary because he waits. And because he'll do that thing, whatever we end up naming it, against anyone. Then we show everyone the counter. I said, on stream, he said, like a promise. The room dimmed a notch. The LEDs around the stage brightened a notch. Phones came out like a field of tiny moons. A hush rolled to the hall as the words on the big screens changed from soon to top 8, and a bracket drew itself from left to right, little squares popping into place with names we knew and names we would learn very quickly. Echo didn't look at me. I didn't look at him. We both looked at the same spot, waiting to see whether our names would be neighbors or strangers on the tree. Whatever happens, Echo said very softly, we're going to make this look fun. We always do, I said. The bracket finished drawing. The hall inhaled. And somewhere between the inhale and the cheer, I heard it, a tiny, patient beat underneath everything. The kind of downbeat you only notice once you play enough games to know when a turn ends and when someone like Atlas decides it should. Top 8. Dewitt versus the Grandmaster of the Hall hummed as the bracket graphics locked in. Dick Dewitt versus Magnus Carlsen. The reaction wasn't a cheer, it was a roar. Cameras whipped toward the corner of the stage where Magnus stood, calm as ever, hands in pockets like he'd just walked out a chess tournament instead of into the top 8 of one of the hardest VGC brackets on the planet. Caster won. This is surreal. Magnus Carlsen, the world chess champion, sitting down at a Pokemon VGC stage. From 64 squares to 4 slots, he's made it all the way to cut. Caster 2, and don't think it's a sideshow. He's not here for headlines. He's here for wins. He's brought a team that feels like a chessboard. King Gambit as a king, Valcorona as a queen, Dragon Knight as a rook, Annihilate as a knight, Blastoise as a signature bishop, and Rillaboom as the pawn. It's thematic, it's brilliant, and it's strong. The matchup was poetic. On one side, Dewitt, the reigning Dutch champion, playing a style built on chaos, pivots, and timing, always laughing, always disruptive, with Harper Popeye the wheezing turning off abilities like flipping chess pieces off the board. On the other, the Grandmaster, calculating each exchange like it was a peace trade, waiting for the board to open before launching his queen or sacrificing a knight. Caster won, and this isn't just celebrity flair. The Grandmaster's team is dangerous. Fake out plus flip turn Blastoise, grass pledge Rillaboom. They can set up the swamp and cut your speed in half. Valcorona and Dragonite both control the pace with Tailwind, and if you overextend into King Gambit, you eat a Black Glasses +2 sucker punch. Caster 2, not to mention that choice Scarf Annihilate with Final Gambit. That's pure Magnus, sacking a piece at the right moment to open the board. The crowd leaned in. Half of them wanted the upset. The other half wanted the story. The casters just wanted to see the clash. Chaos versus calculation. Fun versus fundamentals. Do it versus the Grandmaster. The judge raised a hand. Controllers clicked. The screen went black for a moment, then lit with 6 names each. It was time for Game 1. Top 8, Do It versus Magnus, the Grandmaster Carlsen game. When the crowd didn't cheer. When the pairing flashed, they roared. Do It versus Magnus Carlsen, the reigning Dutch champion versus the world chess champion. From 64 squares to 4 slots. Chance of checkmate. Checkmate! Rolled from the stands as the game loaded in. Team Preview Magnus. King Gambit Blastoise Volcarona Rillaboom Annihilate Dragonite Duif. Wheezing Kilowatt Roll Slaking Incineroar 2 different games sat on the same screen. Turn 1 Magnus led Blastoise plus Rillaboom, the Bishop and the Pawn. I led Harper plus Better Duif. Neutralizing gas spread. For a second, I thought, I have this under glass. But Magnus didn't reach for Fake Out or Glide. He played the board. Blastoise, Water Pledge. Rillaboom, Grass Pledge. The animations overlapped, water twisting into vines, and the field collapsed into the swamp. 4-4 turns. My entire side moved at 1/4 speed. Caster 1, he just did it. Turn 1 swamp. Caster 2, that's positional mastery. He's not playing Pokemon. He's playing chess. My tailwind went up with Better Duif, but it was laughable. A gust against a hurricane. Turn 2, I scrambled. Volt switch Blastoise into Slowqueen. Taunt Rillaboom. Disrupt, trade, attack. Pokemon plays. Magnus calmly countered. Rillaboom, Grassy Glide into Harper. Chipping it low. Blastoise, flip turn, pivoting out. Straight into his Volcarona, the Queen. Swamp still ruled the board. My Gasmon was bleeding. His Queen entered untouched. Turn 3, I panicked at the sight of Volcarona. I doubled it with Double Edge plus Thunderbolt. Surely damage mattered. Magnus didn't flinch. Volcarona, protect. Rillaboom would hammer into Slowqueen, trading itself away. A pawn sacrifice. The crowd applauded the recoil KO like it was a brilliant night fork. Turn 4 Harper feinted to Glide Chip earlier. Gas was gone. Abilities returned. Multi-scale lit up on Dragonite as it joined the Queen. Magnus tightened position. Dragonite, Tailwind. Volcarona, Quiver Dance. I threw attacks, but they glanced off. It was like shoving pawns into a Queen Root battery. Endgame, every exchange Magnus made was equal or better. My trades were frantic. His were precise. By the time King Gambit arrived, it wasn't even necessary, it was ceremony. He swords danced as if he had the clock. Then Sucker Punch closed the board 1 piece at a time. Checkmate. Checkmate! The crowd screamed as the screen faded to black. Result. Magnus won. 0, it wasn't just a loss. It was suffocation. Piece for piece. Pawn for pawn. Until nothing remained but the king. On commentary, Caster 1. Duif played Pokemon. Magnus played chess. And in Game 1, chess won. Caster 2. That swamp on turn 1 set the tempo for everything. From there, it was trades and trades until checkmate. I leaned back. Echo's voice floated in my memory. He doesn't rush the hit. He rushes the moment. And then it hit me, like a rook across the file. This isn't Pokemon anymore. This is chess. And if I want to win, I have to beat Magnus at his own game. Top 8. Do It versus Magnus, the Grandmaster Carlsen game. To the crowd was still buzzing checkmate. As we locked in, I didn't even look at Harper. This time I led with the Queen. Duif's lead. Slowqueen plus Better Duif Magnus lead. Blastoise plus Rillaboom, the crowd leaned forward. Pawn and Bishop versus Queen and Knight. Turn 1 Magnus line was obvious. Fake Out plus Water Pledge. He wanted the swamp again. But this wasn't Pokemon anymore. This was chess. And if he wanted to open the file, I'd castle first. Slowqueen terrestrialized Ghost. The crowd popped. Better Duif. Tailwind. Slowqueen. Double Edge. Rillaboom's Fake Out swung straight through the Ghost. Blastoise's water pledge went unanswered, and then Slot Queen moved. Double Edge slammed into Rillaboom. With Life Orb and Terra Boost, the pawn went down in one blow. The crowd's chant flipped. Slot Queen, Slot Queen. Magnus blinked once, slow. He was down a piece, but his face didn't change. Turn 2 Magnus brought in Volcarona. The Queen. The crowd gasped. Queen versus Queen. I had tempo. I pressed. Better do a volt, switch Harper Popeye. Gas sliding in like a shadow across the board. Slot Queen protect. No reason to trade queens yet. Magnus didn't flinch. Volcarona quiver dance. Blastoise flip turn into Dragonite. The Rook joined the Queen. A familiar setup, but this time my Queen still lived. Turn 3 we were in the mid-game. His Queen and Rook versus my Queen and Bishop. But now I was thinking like him. Harper. Will-O-Wisp into Dragonite. Burn through multi-scale. Slot Queen. High horsepower into Volcarona. Magnus. Volcarona protect. Dragonite Tailwind. The crowd oot. The Rook covered the Queen. Multi-scale burn away, but Tailwind balanced the board. Turn 4 gas was still up. That mattered. Magnus couldn't just snowball quiver plus multi-scale, like last time. I made the Magnus play, not rushing KO, but rushing the position. Harper taunt Dragonite. No haze, no extra Tailwind. Slot Queen double edge into Volcarona through Protect Fade. Magnus answered. Volcarona Heat Wave. Both hit, but lived. Dragonite scale shot into Harper, but burn damage was weak. Volcarona staggered at red. His Queen was bleeding. Turn 5 Magnus had a choice. Protect the Queen or trade it. He chose chess. Volcarona stayed in. Heat Wave again. Dragonite protected. I matched him. Harper protected. Slot Queen double-edged the Queen again. Volcarona fainted. Queen for tempo. I kept mine. The crowd exploded. Endgame Magnus brought in King Gambit. The King. But with gas up, Defiant stayed off. The King was slow. It became a grind. Scale shots, burns, taunts, double edges. Piece for piece. And when the dust settled, it was 1-0 Duif. Slot Queen at red, standing alone like a battered queen against a corner king. Result. Duif won. One the casters nearly shouted over each other. Caster won. What turnaround. Duif dodges fake out with Terra Ghost and trades like Magnus does. Caster, too. He realized this isn't Pokemon. This is chess. And he just tied the set. I exhaled. The crowd was chanting again, but this time it wasn't checkmate. It was Duif, Duif, Duif. Top 8. Duif versus Magnus, the Grandmaster, Carlson Game 3. The closing chapter of the hall leaned forward until it felt like we were all sharing one breath. One game each. One to move on. The cameras caught Magnus in profile. Still as a rook. The crowd's chant checkmate. Checkmate. Rolled like quiet thunder. I led Harper Popeye and better Duif. He sat down 2 pieces like it was the start of a classical line. Blastoise and Annihilate. The Bishop and the Knight. Neutralizing gas spread. And the board went quiet. Turn 1 he locked instantly. That alone was terrifying. Ape lunge for final gambit. Straight to Harper, and Blastoise's palm flash fake out toward the bird. I didn't flinch. Protect on Harper. Better do a flinch, sure, but the gambit hit the shield and failed, and the knight didn't fall. A line revealed, not lost. The crowd murmured. He'd shown the sacrifice. I hadn't traded a piece. Turn 2 he didn't blink. The knight came again, final gambit, this time through my shield. Harper dropped. The knight fell with her. 1 for 1. A clean chess trade. Blastoise, calm as a clock, laid water pledge on the square. An invitation to swamp later, not now. I answered with Tailwind and brought out my Queen. Slot Queen took the empty space Harper left. Turn 3, he advanced a pawn, Rillaboom. I saw it coming and still felt the floor tilt. Blastoise and Rilla moved together. Water pledge plus grass pledge, and the field sank into swamp, quartering our speed. The whole screen felt heavier. So I made the board lighter where it mattered. Slot Queen terrestrialized Ghost. The crowd popped. No fake-outs, no easy pins. The queen moved. Double-edge tore through the pawn and sent it off the board in one strike. Better do if kept the lights on with chip into Blastoise. Swamp ruled the timeline, but I claimed the center. Turn for he brought his queen at last, Volcarona, covert cloak gleaming. No flinches, no nonsense. Blastoise watched the lines like a metronome. I felt the rhythm of truant click in my chest. After that first swing, Slaw Queen would loaf. Not a bug, just a beat I had to dance with. Better do if lance a thunderbolt into Volcarona for info and chip, while Slaw Queen did nothing but breathe, and in that breath Magnus quiver danced. One elegant spiral, and his queen was ready. Turn 5, he turned the handle. Blastoise flip turn brought in King Gambit. The king stepped onto the file as Volcarona spilled Heat Wave across the row. The angle was familiar from Game 1, the same eventually suffocating battery. This time I played for tomorrow, not this move. The director waited in the wings. I refused to get defiant anything cheap. Better do if held position, and Slaw Queen took her turn back, slamming high horsepower into the king for clean, honest damage. The king staggered but didn't fall. Magnus simply twitched a ring finger. Swords danced and the blade gleamed. Turn 6, where it clicks the 3 earlier games, the online final. Swiss round 6, the openings of the set slid over one another in my head like tracing paper. Protect rhythms. Pivot timings. When he shields the queen. When he trusts the king. I didn't decide anything. It decided me. Profile lock clicked. I heard Echo's voice. If he tries to flip the phase, make him sculpt air. So I gave him nothing. Better do if slip behind protect. And Slaw Queen hit her truant beat, staring, patient. An empty square where a piece should be. Heat Wave bloomed into a shield. Cowdow Cleave cut at a ghost that refused to swing. The crowd roared at silence. A turn that ended with the board exactly where I wanted it. Turn 7 now. We trade on our terms. Slaw Queen move again. Double edge into the king for a brutal chunk, and better do if Thunderbolt Volcarona until its HP shook in the red. Magnus tried to shut the door with instinct. Sucker punch into Slaw Queen. But Profile Lock had the beat. I hadn't attacked with her the turn before. His punch whiffed. Heat Wave was enough. 2 pieces bleeding. 2 players very still. Turn 8, the read, everyone felt he had one safe thing left. Shield the queen, land the punch. His eyes flickered once. That micro-tell you only see when you're already living a half-beat ahead. I split the board. Slaw Queen chose protect. First one for her this game, clean, and better do if sent Thunderbolt into the empty shimmer of Volcarona's protect. Information collected. Pattern confirmed. No damage taken. The chant in the back swelled and twisted into my name. Turn 9. Checkmate on our board, no more safety nets. We moved at the same time. Better do if struck true. Thunderbolt finished Volcarona. Slaw Queen wrote the last line in ink. Double edge into King Gambit. Queen down. King down. The screen went white, then black, then 2, 1 do if. The hall detonated. Do if. Do if. Do if. The casters tried to climb over each other. Caster 1. He saw the Grandmaster profile lock into Clay Breaker, and he called every beat. Caster 2. Magnus looked for the checkmate line. Heat Wave into Sucker Punch. And Doif gave him nothing on the flip, then took everything on the next turn. That's championship play. Magnus stood with that small, amused smile champions where when they recognize another game entirely. His handshake was warm and steady. You played chess today, he said, quiet enough that only I heard it. Checkmate. I said back and meant it. We walked off into the tunnel. The lights behind us dimmed to a hum. Somewhere ahead the bracket reshuffled itself, and somewhere beyond that I could feel Atlas, listening for the downbeat he liked to hide between turns. My heartbeat met it and set its own. After game, the hall breathes again, headsets off. The roar turns into a rolling wave, and then into air you can actually breathe. Magnus is first to stand. His handshake is warm, steady, almost amused. You played chess today. You! Checkmate. Cameras drink that up. The desk cuts and overcrowd noise. Caster 1. Clip it. The double protect into the whiff turn, then the sucker punch read. That's the set. Caster 2. And the phrase of the day, profile lock. After 3 serious games, the opponent becomes a solved profile. Do-if called a whole endgame. The arena screens replay the last 2 turns in slow motion. Sucker punch flashing and failing. Thunderbolt landing. Double edge writing the period. Someone add a little crown sticker over Slot Queen on the replay. The crowd laughs, then cheers louder. A sideline might find you at the edge of the stage. Interviewer. Game 1 looked like chess. Game 3 looked like your chess. What changed? Do-if. I stopped chasing KOs and started chasing positions. We respected Cloak on Volcarona. We traded the right pieces. And when I felt the rhythm, profile lock clicked. Then it's just play the line. Interviewer. Was the double protect planned? Do-if. More like prepared. If he flips the phase mid-turn, we clay breaker, make him sculpt air. Then we hit where it hurts. Interviewer. Favorite moment? Do-if. Calling the sucker punch. Felt the beat. Moved 1 note early. Backstage. You find Echo already waiting with 2 paper cups and a grin he's trying to hide. Echo. Queen lives. King falls. That's my favorite opening. Do-if. Best part? I didn't even blunder my rook. Echo. That double protect? Filthy. Also, profile lock's real. I could see it in your face. You knew, then you knew. You clink cups, he slides a strip waffle across the lid. Echo. Eat. Heroes hydrate. Winners carb load. On the big screen above the concourse, a quick reaction montage spins up. Clip title. Claybreaker turn. He sculpted air. Chat rolling. Sucker punch read pog. Profile lock cannon. Slot Queen Magnus passes by with his team sheet tucked under his arm. He pauses just long enough to be gracious and deadly honest. Magnus. The castle move. Keeping your queen safe until board was yours. That's what changed the match. Nice work. He's gone before you think of the perfect reply. Doesn't matter. You've got the echo of it. A judge taps your badge. Semis in 20. Echo on stream first, Atlas table. You and Echo trade a look that's equal parts promise and joke. Do-if. Go be inevitable. Echo. Go be annoying. He heads toward lights and cameras. You drift the other way, toward water and a quiet wall. Your phone buzzes, pairings, stream clip links, a text from a friend that's just a row of exclamation points, and a crown emoji. Over the hum of the venue. You can hear the chant still lingering like a drum line down a corridor. Do-if, do-if, do-if. You tap the edge of your lanyard, breathe, and let the last turn play back in your head, protect into nothing, then the clean two-move finish. The story just earned its exclamation point. The next chapter is already flipping itself open. Echo. Top 8 versus Lena Hartmann feature match. Lena is known for clean, textbook trick room built around Porygon 2 with heavy hitters behind it. Game 1 Echo opens Weezing plus Incineroar into Porygon 2 plus Ursaluna. Neutralizing gas turns off guts on Luna. Ability shield lets Incins intimidate still land. Turn 1. Fake out into P2 buys a beat. Taunt from Harper Popeye follows, so Trick Room can't go up next turn. With TR sealed, Echo chains parting shot better do-if Tailwind, then pivots to Slot Queen. A burned, intimidated Ursaluna swings like it's carrying groceries. Double Edge writes the period. Echo 1-0. Game 2 Lena adapts. NDDF plus Porygon 2 to block fake out with Psychic Terrain, then brings in a slow bruiser. Echo tries to repeat the taunt line, but Psychic Terrain neuters the opener and P2 lands Trick Room. Under TR, her Ursaluna and support grind value, Echo can't reset speed in time. 1-1. Game 3 Echo mixes it up. Weezing plus Kilowattrel. Terra goes on the Bird Tailwind. Gas stays up, so P2's plan is fragile. He pre-taunts Porygon 2 while Gas is active, then cycles Parting Shot with Incin to tax damage, and re-enable Gas on key turns. Endgame is tight. P2 is forced to recover instead of rooming. Ursaluna is burned and sad, and Slot Queen cleans to a terrain-less Rillaboom with Double Edge. Echo takes a 2-1. Buttony meets you by the water cooler. 2 cups in hand, and that half grin. Echo. TR tried be inevitable. I was more inevitable. Do-if. You're insufferable. Echo, semis in 15. Go be annoying. Semifinal, Echo versus Atlas intro. The hall tilts toward a rivalry, the bracket lights up, and the room shifts its weight towards center stage. Echo versus Atlas. The last time they met, Swiss round 6, Atlas squeezed air out of the game with that mid-turn flip, sniping gas and turning abilities back on before Echo's swing. It wasn't luck. It was a thing he does. The casters said it like a chessboard. Caster 1. We've talked about it all day. Atlas's signature. Phase timing. He doesn't just read moves. He changes when an important part of the turn happens. Caster 2. And Echo knows it. His counter is what the team calls Clay Breaker. Double protects. Invulnerables. Pivots that make Atlas's flip land on air. If he can keep neutralizing gas up and pre-taunt Goldingo while gas is active, this gets very real. On the Jumbotron, the 6 silhouettes glow. Atlas, Rillaboom, Dragapult, Dragonite, Goldingo, Incineroar, Pelipper. Echo, Weezing qui doit être l'Incineroar, Slakin, Diffusionage, Dragapult. Side stage, you bump Echo's shoulder as he tightens his lanyard. Do if. Remember, if Atlas tries to flip the turn, you Clay Breaker. Make him sculpt air. Echo, gas first. Then taunt the gold while gas is up. If Dragonite blinks. You taunt first, cry later. He grins. I'll save the crying for top 2. They walk to their pods. Atlas arrives like a quiet wave, nodding to the judge, hands in pockets until the headset settles. He doesn't glance at Echo. He listens to the hum of the hall, the tempo of the lights, the invisible downbeat he always seems to hear a half-second sooner. Caster 1. Atlas hasn't shown Terra all day. If there's a trump, it's likely Terra Water on Goldingo. Defensive flip that blanks high horsepower and shrugs fire. Caster 2. If Echo's going to win, he has to force Tailwind on his timing. Keep gas on the field, and never let Atlas get that free, nasty plot. Watch for Terra Ghosts on Bird. Blank fake outs. Steal the first speed window. Cameras cut to Echo's hands. Steady, not still. He hovers over the leads, then locks. Across the stage, Atlas locks too, almost instantly. The crowd feels that and hushes in one breath. The casters whisper, because the room demands it. Caster 1, semifinals. The rematch. Caster 2, Atlas plays a turn. Echo plays the timing. One of them is wrong in 5 minutes. The screen fades black, then blooms to life. 2 Pokeballs each, names ticking down the sides. You can almost hear the beat Atlas is chasing, and this time you can hear Echo count in. Lights sharpen. The judge's hand drops. It's time. Semifinal, Echo versus Atlas Game 1. Echo leads. Harper Popeye plus Better Do if Atlas leads. Rillaboom plus Dragapult neutralizing gas hushes a field. No grassy surge. No clear body. For exactly as long as Harper can stay alive. Turn 1 Atlas doesn't bother with mind games. Rillaboom fake out into Harper. Dragapult specs Shadow Ball into Harper. Citrus pops. And Harper still faints. As her Pokeball snaps shut, neutralizing gas vanishes mid-turn. Grassy surge triggers immediately, painting the ground green under everyone's feet. Better Do It still gets Tailwind up, but the moment belongs to Atlas now. Abilities are back. Turn 2 Echo sends the director to stabilize and plays it tight. Incineroar fake out Rillaboom. Better Do It Volt switch off Dragapult pivots to Slockween. Atlas switches Dragapult Goldingo. Rillaboom flinches. The board resets, but gas is gone, and that means Good as Gold is now active. Turn 3 Atlas brings out the battery. Rillaboom switch Dragonite. Goldingo nasty plot. +2 and life orb glints. Echo tries attacks damage and prep a line. Incineroar parting shot into Goldingo. Blocked by Good as Gold. Slockween protect to scout. Atlas has a position he wanted. +2 gold on the field. Dragonite ready to support next turn. Abilities online. Turn for the lid closes. Dragonite Tailwind. Goldingo make it rain. Incineroar staggers. Better Do If pop sash. Chip sprays everywhere. Echo can't reapply gas safely. Every attempt to bring Harper back risks an immediate KO. With Good as Gold active, taunt parting shot don't touch Gold. With multi-scale up, Dragonite shrugs Chip and keeps the speed. Turn 5 plus Atlas doesn't overreach. He trades correctly. Scale shot cleans a bird. Make it rain pins a rest. Rillaboom returns later to sweep with glide once terrain refreshes. No te reveal. No gamble. Just tempo, timing, and that mid-turn ability snap from turn 1 echoing through the rest of the game. Atlas leads the set 1-0. Caster 1. Clinical. KO Wheezing on turn 1. Abilities re-enable mid-turn, and from their gold never had to respect parting shot or taunt. Caster 2. For game 2, Echo has to keep Gas alive and taunt gold while Gas is up, while that +2 Make It Rain will happen again. Echo exhales, nods once, absorbing, not rattled. Across the stage, Atlas is already still again, listening for the downbeat. Score 0-1. Game 2 is where Echo has to change the timing. The lights settle into that deep finals blue. Echo rolls his shoulders, eyes flicking between clock and screen. Across the table, Atlas doesn't blink. He just raises his hand and sends out his pieces like he's tapping a metronome. Atlas leads, Rillaboom plus Goldingo. Echo leads, Kilowattrel plus Incineroar. Grassy surge breathes across the floor. Echoes intimidate trims both sides. The desk murmurs. This is a no-gas start from Echo. He's not trying to smother Atlas's rhythm. He's trying to outpace it. Turn 1. Speed before safety, Rillaboom's palm snaps forward. Fake out clips the director for Chip, the kind that stings more in pride than HP. Echo doesn't flinch. He lifts a finger, almost playful. Better do if tailwind. Wind rolls behind Echo's side. A subtle roar under crowd. Atlas answers like a chess player pushing a central pawn. Goldingo nasty plot. +2 and smiling. On paper, Echo's behind. One of the best sweepers in the format is now glowing ocean blue. On the board, though, Echo has the sky. Turn 2. 2 coins on their edge. Echo uses the extra speed to go after the hinge, not the hammer. Kilowattrel air slash into Rillaboom for 54% and tiny sharp intake from the crowd, a flinch. Goldingo Make It Rain at +2. Coins bend the air. It's not very effective, but it still rips Kilowattrel to sash and dents Ensign nearly half. Spa drops one stage. Life Orb bites back. Echo reaches for the safe pivot. Incineroar parting shot into the Goldingo, and it thunks off an invisible wall. The status graphic says what everyone knows. Good as gold. No gas on field means the debuff doesn't land. Rillaboom flinches, unable to punish. Grassy terrain knits a little life back into everyone. For a heartbeat, the camera catches Echo smiling at his mistake. Note to self, don't talk to gold without gas. Turn 3. Trump cards, 2 flashes bloom at once. Atlas Terrace, Goldingo Water. The golden suit turns ocean deep. Rainlight dances along its edge. Rillaboom Grassy glide into the 1 HP bird. Better do if sails away with a dignified 0.7% and a puff of feathers. Goldingo Make It Rain again into Incineroar. Another 46.5%. The rhythm steady. Chip, drop, chip, drop. Echo answers with something satisfyingly simple. Incineroar knockoff into the water gold. 40% in life orb is gone. The crowd actually claps, removing the amplifier matters. End of turn terrain catches both sides. The arena breathing like a giant creature. Echo reaches to his belt and tosses a star onto the field. Go, Slot Queen. Turn 4. Recenter. The ghostly Titan lands, knuckles against turf. She doesn't bother roaring. Slot Queen high horsepower into Terra Water Goldingo. The camera shakes on impact. Critical hit, 54%, and the blue suit implodes. Goldingo faints. Incineroar parting shot, it sticks, and Echo pivots to Harper Popeye. Neutralizing gas floods a field. The world going strangely silent as every passive turns off. Atlas salvages what he can. Rillaboom U-turn into Slot Queen for Chip, then exits. A shadow slides in Dragapult. Its eyes like a pair of streetlights in rain. End of turn. Slot Queen and Harper sip Grassy as Tailwind peters out, and Atlas refills his empty slot with Rillaboom again. The board resets in a way that feels almost theatrical. Echo, Slot Queen plus Harper. Atlas, Dragapult plus Rillaboom. Turn 5, punish the entry. Atlas takes the obvious line. Dragapult Shadow Ball into Harper, 52.9%, and the SPD drop. Harper sways, then calmly eats her citrus and straightens. Echo answers on both fronts. Slot-Queen Double Edge into Rillaboom, 58%. A clean KO through the earlier chip and drops. Recoil digs into Slot-Queen's ribs. She nods like worth it. Harper Dazzling Gleam. The sparkle slices across Dragapult for 63%. Terrain Knit. The grass fades from the stage. Atlas sends his last true closer. Dragonite. There's a breath you can hear in the audio mix. Excitement and fear sharing the same lung. Turn 6. With or without gas. As if to test Echo, the universe pulls the rug. Neutralizing gas dissipates. Harper returns her ball as Echo brings back Incineroar. Intimidate pulls Dragonite's attack down. Clear Body shrugs it off on Dragapult. Slot-Queen Sucker Punch into Dragapult for 43%, clean, clinical, and Dragapult faints. Dragonite Scale Shot into Slot-Queen for hits, the first a crit. Slot-Queen staggers with stands. Dragonite speed rises, defense falls. It's now Dragonite versus Slot-Queen plus Incin with no gas on the field. Everyone in the room remembers what Slot-Queen is when she's unbound and what she becomes when she isn't. Turn 7. The empty beat. Atlas presses Protect. Echo tries to fake out and it claps into a shield. Then the camera holds on Slot-Queen. The text floats, simple and cruel. Slot-Queen is loafing around. That one line is an entire education in this team. Without Harper, Truant reclaims her attack, loaf, attack, and Echo has to play inside that metronome. Turn 8. Bring back the silence. Echo fixes it in one symbol. Slot-Queen switch. Harper returns. Neutralizing gas rolls out again like a fog machine. You can feel Atlas frown. Dragonite Scale Shot drills into Incineroar twice. That's all it needs. The director bows and exits. The dragon grows faster, thinner, more dangerous. Echo sends Slot-Queen right back. Gas is up now, and the Titan can move every turn again. Turn 9. Last two turn the endgame is simple, but tense enough to chew through steel. Slot-Queen Sucker Punch into Dragonite, 98%. The crowd screams. Dragonite Scale Shot swings back with single hit for 4%, just enough to tip Slot-Queen over the edge. Slot-Queen faints. The dragon speed ticks again. Defense drops again. It's blazing and fragile, a comet with a heartbeat left. The camera cuts to Harper. No flourish, no speech. Just a little balloon-headed guardian, inhaling once, and releasing a dazzling gleam across the floor. 2%. The dragon folds. The screen flashes. Echo won the battle. Echo exhales. The crowd detonates. On the desk, someone laughs through a sentence. He lost a bird. He lost a director. He even lost gas mid-game. But he won the timing. Knocked off the amp, crit the gold, cycled gas back in, and let Slot-Queen write the chorus. Across the stage, Atlas nods once. Not resignation, recognition. He's seen the adjustment. He's seen the courage to play into the metronome and then break it on command. Echo stands, collects Harper's ball like a talisman, and gives a small wave to the section in orange. One apiece. Everything to play for. Game 3 waits like a held note. The room's quiet in that way only a decider makes it, like the whole hall is leaning forward on the same elbow. Atlas sits the way a pendulum sits between swings. Echo flexes his fingers once, sets them on the controls like a pianist over the first chord, and looks at the field the way you look at a puzzle you know has an elegant answer. Leads land. Atlas with Dragapult plus Rillaboom, Lawrence's side with Kilowattrel plus Slot-Queen. No Harper. No safety net. Echo's thought clicks into place. Speed before safety. If I win the sky, I win the turns. Turn 1. The plan Dragapult with Specs is the scariest thing on the table. Outspeeds everything, threatens Harper on sight, and forces awkward trades. I want Tailwind so Slot-Queen can chase it down later. But if Rillaboom fake-outs my bird, or Pult terrestrializes to dodge Sucker Punch ranges, I lose the opener. Highest equity line. Tailwind plus Sucker Punch into Pult. If he stays base ghost, it drops. If he terrace fire, it lives. But then he's stuck, and I can reposition into gas. Echo breathes in. Locks it. Atlas flashes orange. Terra fire on Dragapult. Okay, he respected sucker. Slaw Queen sucker punch connects anyway. 58%. Clean chunk. Rillaboom grassy glide taps the bird. 39.3%. Dragapult shadow ball cuts the rest. 60.7% KO. No tailwind. Just the hiss of a screen going neutral. No flinch. Echo palming a familiar ball is almost muscle memory. If you can't win the sky, take the air out of the room. Harper, go. Neutralizing gas rolls out like frost on a window. The stage goes. Quiet. All the little freebies. Gone. Turn 2. The square I know if I were Atlas. I never leave Firepult in front of a Slaw Queen that threatens a second sucker. He'll pivot to Dragonite or Goldengo. Guessing wrong and throwing high horsepower into a Dragonite, or double edge into a Gold Switch. Could lose the game on the spot. So don't guess. Burn the Dragonite slot, and remove Rillaboom so he can't U-turn pivot. If he stays in with Pult, I still force value next turn with gas up. Atlas calls back Dragapult. Dragonite drops in, catching the light like a metal. Slaw Queen double edge into Rillaboom, 99%, a clean mark. Rillaboom uses a last breath that has the wood hammer, 57.3%, just enough to trade Slaw Queen out. The tree crumples to recoil, 2 pieces off both sides. The crowd does that soft, involuntary to only precise trades earn. Harper Will-O-Wisp kisses Dragonite. Burn ticks. The dragon pretends not to mind. This is fine. Echo's hand is already moving. The director walks in like he owns a clipboard. Across the field, Dragapult returns. Echo's internal note smiles. Under gas, even the shielded Intimidate lands. A neat, quiet debuff that shouldn't, but does. Turn 3. Clam the tempo, we're under gas. Clear body is off. Fake out pins Pulp for a turn. Gleam pressures both. Burn Dragonite's damage is muted unless variant spikes. If he doubles a director, I accept it. Better that than losing Harper. This turn is about holding the wheel without squeezing it. Incineroar fake out into Dragapult, 13% flinch. Dragonite scale shot unloads 5, and 2 of them crit. Burn dulls the edge, but the double flash cuts far deeper than comfort. The director grunts, stays upright. Harper dazzling gleam, 40% to Dragonite, a tidy 17% crit on Pult. Grass stitches at the edges of the scene. Burn nibbles the dragon again. Echo's thought, okay, still ours. Don't get fancy. Turn 4, accept the wind. Steal the pieces Atlas will tailwind here. I can't stop it without overcommitting. So we trade. I push Gleam again, put Dragonite into burn range, and nick Pult, and I knock off its specs so future turns aren't coin flips. If Pult shadow balls Harper, Citrus keeps her steady. A Draco would be scary, but with specs on it's unlikely he risks the miss. Atlas unfurls the banner. Dragonite tailwind. Dragapult shadow ball into Harper, 54.7%, and an SP death drop. Citrus pops. Harper breathes like she knew it would. Harper Gleam again, 43% on the dragon, 12% on Pult. Incineroar knockoff strips choice specs and chips 12%. And then on the cut, a 2-beat Miracle U to accuse a montage of faking. Dragapult falls. Dragonite burns out. 2 exits on the same breath. The room detonates. Atlas doesn't react. He just tosses one last coin like he's tipping a busker. Goldengo smiles with its whole face. Turn 5. Trade a queen. Keep the king tailwind is up. Harper has a SP death drop. Make It Rain will always pick her off before she moves, no matter what terror I click. Accept that. My anchor is a director. He resists both stabs, and with knockoff I put gold at death's door and remove life orb, so the endgame isn't a damage roll circus. Don't outplay what isn't asking to be outplayed. Goldengo Make It Rain. Harper evaporates, 76.2%. The shower sprinkles Incineroar for 23.3%. Spa falls. Life or bites. Numbers tilt back toward sanity. Incineroar knockoff answers with 89% and rips the life orb free. Gold staggers at 2%. The grass fades from the floor. The sound in the hall becomes a heartbeat. State check. Tailwind still up. Incineroar 40%. Both stabs resisted. Golden Go 2%. Life orb gone. One clean touch wins it. And if there's a Mon you trust for that last touch, it's the legend in front of you. The one and only GOAT. The closer we've leaned on 100 times. The director. He has ended so many sets with a single, perfect knockoff. A clap, a thud, a handshake. Tonight, he's asked to do it one more time. Across from him, the mask grins. Golden Go, coin-faced idol, crowd pleaser with razor edges. At 2%, it still feels like a trapdoor with teeth. A villain that doesn't need damage rolls. Just one human lapse. Echo breathes out. No tera. No tricks. Just knock off. Curtain call. His thumb hovers, sweaty from adrenaline. Just a hair too loose after the exhale, and grazes a Terra tile. The UI catches a tiny blue glint. A heartbeat of, wait, too late. The Terra button clicks. The director blossoms into ghost. For half a second, the room cheers because transformation is spectacle. Then the mask slams shut. Ghost doesn't save you here. It invites the worst thing gold can throw. And here's where Atlas shows why he's across from champions. He isn't playing the board anymore. He's playing the heartbeat. He had already cued Shadow Ball. He moved to the square Echo would step on before Echo even knew he was going to. Golden Go Shadow Ball. A perfect glassy arc. Super effective. The soft click of a door closing. The director drops. White flash. Black text. Atlas won the battle. The hall erupts. Half roar. Half sharp inhale. Echo doesn't flinch. He wears that small, precise smile. The one that says I understand exactly what just happened. Center stage. The handshake is clean and human. Atlas's eyes carry no cruelty. Only the calm of someone who navigated the whole set by rhythm, not force. Clay breaker at full power. Back in the tunnel. The air is cooler and honest. No bright colors, no theatrics. Just footsteps and the soft clink of a lanyard. Echo taps Harper's ball once and files the feeling into the word. He's been circling since Swiss. Profile lock. Not a guess. A solve. When the pattern is known, the line is forced. He looks up. Lawrence is already there, grin wide, energy high. Echo straightens. Finals, he says. Let's make it loud. Backstage hummed like an empty fridge. Too loud for silence. Too quiet for comfort. Echo came around the corner with his headset dangling, and his thumb still rubbing a phantom blue glint that wasn't there anymore. Doif was already there, leaning on a road case like he'd known the exact second Echo would appear. Hey, Doif said. Echo huffed a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Hey! They stood in that little pocket of air between words. The crowd above was a distant ocean. Somewhere down the hall, a vacuum cleaner tried to swallow the building. You were so close to beating him, Doif said, soft but not pitying. Close doesn't matter, Echo said. We've lost him 3 times. Twice today. How do you beat a guy like that? He glanced at his controller, then away. He stopped, flexed his fingers. You saw. I saw, Doif said. No lecture, just agreement. And I saw everything before it. Echo's jaw worked. He's impossible. Doif shook his head. He's a puzzle. Echo looked up. Profile lock. Doif said, like placing a piece on a board. We've got 3 sets, 9 games of Atlas on film. Every tailwind he buys, every trade he takes, the turns he doesn't Terra even when it's right. He's not reading teams. He's reading tempo. That means there's a pattern. Doif's mouth tipped into a small, certain smile. And patterns can be solved. Echo let that sit. The word solved felt like an anchor clicking into the deck. Finals are tomorrow, he said, more to confirm the shape of the day than anything. Which means we have a whole day. Doif said, we rewatch everything. We chart his windows, where gas needs to be on, where it needs to be off, when he steals the sky, when he'll trade a piece just to open a timing door 3 turns later. We don't guess. We map. And then Echo asked. Then he stops being a wall and turns into a path. Duif said, "We don't need the answer now. We just need the work." For the first time since the stage lights, Echo's shoulders dropped. He tapped a knuckle against the premier ball at Duif's belt, Harper's ball, then the one next to it. Harper, Slockween. "They'll do what they always do," Duif said. "We just make sure we're there one beat earlier than he expects." Echo's smile showed up like a bruise healing. "I hate how calm you are." "I'm not calm," Duif said. "I am stubborn." They both laughed, small and real. Duif dug into his pocket and produced a crushed, still-wrapped stripwaffle. He held it out. "For luck," he said. Echo eyed it. "You brought that on stage?" "I forgot it was there." They split it like a ritual, the sugar a tiny spark on the tongue. Echo slid his headset off his neck and looped it over the road case. "All right. We sleep. We wake up. We solve him." Duif nodded. "And when you feel it click, when the profile locks, don't blink. He'll feel it." "I won't." They bumped fists. No theatrics, just pressure and trust. Echo turned toward the stairs of the analyst room. Duif toward the blue spill of the arena doors. The tunnel lights hummed on them both like a promise. Behind them, the crowd swelled for the next match. Ahead of them, the finals waited a day away, quiet as a puzzle that already knows it's going to be solved. The Amsterdam night had that soft, humming quiet. Tram bells far away, canal water doing its slow mirror thing. You and Echo slipped out a side door with your badges flipped backwards like that could make you invisible. It didn't. Every few steps one of you would start a sentence. On turn 4 if I, no, the tailwind, and then the other would finish it, hands drawing little timing windows in the air. At the corner, under a street lamp tilted like it was eavesdropping, someone else was waiting for the same tram. Atlas. No entourage. No coach. Just a paper bag of something warm, and a posture that said he'd been in this kind of quiet before. His eyes flicked up, focused, kind. "Good set," he said. Not smug. Not flat. Just accurate. Echo's mouth did the brave half-smile. "You called my terror before I did." Atlas tilted his head, like he was listening for a note. "You were proud of not needing it," he said. "Pride is a tempo." Then, almost an apology, "Tomorrow isn't today." The tram squealed in. Doors hissed open. He stepped on, turned back, and added, "I like the burn timing." He meant Harper on the Dragonite. It sounded like respect. You watched the car rattle away and tried not to let your face do the challenge accepted thing. It did anyway. "Okay," Echo said, exhaling frost. "Dinner, then more." You found a little Surinamese place still open, the kind with 4 stools and a handwritten menu that's exactly 7 items long. The owner blinked at the lanyards, decided you were harmless, and handed over 2 bridges palmed the size of your future. Echo added a croquet for science. You ate standing up in the glow of the cooler, while Echo sketched timing arrows in the steam on the window. Back at the hotel, dinner wrappers crinkled like metronomes, and the city hummed under the window. We cleared a corner of the desk, 2 notebooks, a chess clock we never use, and Harper's ball set on top like a paperweight, and started telling the matchup as a story instead of a spreadsheet. "Think of it like this," Echo said, sketching a little crown over Wheezing. "Harper walks in wearing a fairy cloak, and both of Atlas's dragons, Dragonite and Dragapult, just. Stop. Dragonite can't even touch her. It wants to sing Tailwind and swing Scale Shot, but a single will-o'-wisp turns that sword into cardboard." I nodded, right up until the cheese string shows up. We both looked at the doodled mask we'd given Goldengo. It smiled back like a trap. "Make it rain point straight at Harper," I said. "So we dress her in terragrass when we need to, cut steel from brutal to bearable, and we keep an eye on Polypper's hurricane if it's around." Echo flipped to the next page and drew Slockween as a wrecking ball with a bow. "The queen is simple," he said. "With gas up, she moves every turn and one-shots most of his world. Sucker Punch erases Dragapult before it blinks. High Horsepower deletes Goldengo. Double Edge eats Dragonite through multi-scale because..." He tapped Harper's name. "Neutralizing gas steals the scales." "Until Terra," I added. All three can wriggle out of the guillotine with the right hat. Terra Fire on Pult, Terra Water on Gold, Steel on D-Night. If we swing into the hat, we whiff and they punch back. We drew a little director's chair and slid it towards center stage. Incineroar's our grown-up, Echo said. Dark Fire means he shrugs Shadow Ball and make it rain, and with Ability Shield he still lands Intimidate even while gas is on. Fake Out buys beats, knock off Yank's Life Orb, and with gas on even parting shot slides pass good as gold. I spun the pen once. He's also our seatbelt if we miss a beat. We gave Dragapult a split personality on the page. On one side, a comet tail and a check mark. On the other, a skull and an exclamation point. When the sky is ours, I said, Sox is a closer. Band darts, U-turn, Terra Blast goes for clean finishes. I flipped the page. When the sky belongs to Atlas, his Specs Pult is faster and just fire Shadow Ball straight through ours. And if Tailwind is up, Goldingo outpedes too, or goes Terra Water and laughs at Phantom Force. We both looked at the little gull we'd labeled Better Doeth. The bird's job is simple, Echo said. Match Tailwind or steal the turn so Slockween and Sox get to move first. Tailwind plus Volt Switch gives us gas toggles on a conveyor belt, but it's made of rice paper, Rillaboom, and Pulp Bulliet, and without Protect we have to time Terra goes to slip Fake Out. We didn't even draw Hisuian to Flosion. Bad night for the volcano, I said. Gold and Pult resist or punish fire. Pelipper turns off Eruption. Dragonite, Dragapult resist, and Wide Gargan appear. Diary master sits this dance. The pen started moving faster, arrows, circles, a rhythm map instead of a type chart. Priority 1, Echo said, tapping hard enough to dent the paper. Contain Dragapult. If that thing stays unchecked into Endgame, it mops everything we love. Catch it with Sucker Punch. Fake Out plus chip, or force it to Terra on our schedule. Then the toggles, I said. Gas on to silence good as gold, so parting shot and taunt land. To erase multiscale. To shut off cute passives. Gas OFF to let Intimidate. Bite when we need it. Burn the tempo carrier. Echo added, underlining Dragonite. Once it's halved, Tailwind becomes an even trade, not a losing one. And strip Life Orb early, I said, drawing a little coin popping off Goldingo. No amplifier, no murder. We paused, both thinking of the big green gorilla we'd drawn with a tiny drum. Rillaboom is a real sandbag, Echo said. Assault Vest means Harper tickles it, and Slockween needs either a clean double edge or setup to remove it. Fake Out buys Atlas Windows, Tailwind, Nasty Plot, whatever, and that makes our 4 Terra Ghosts a mind game every turn. We wrote the 3 likely openings on a sticky note and slapped it to the lamp. Rilla plus D-Night. Rilla plus Gold. Pulp plus Rilla. And the traps to avoid, I said. No handing them Tailwind plus Nasty Plot for free. Don't let Terra Fire Pulp live a sucker and snowball. Don't flick gas off at the wrong time. And watch good as Gold shrug at our parting shot. Don't let Rillaboom stay fat, and keep buying pivots. Echo leaned back, listening to the room's quiet. So the story is simple, he said. We don't have to guess. We have to hit the beat. I nodded, feeling the map settle into place behind my eyes. If Pult is pinned and gas sings on the right bars, Slockween and Sox write the ending. If we miss the rhythm, Atlas's Clay Breaker turns our safe clicks into dead time. We both smiled the same, stupid, tired smile. Okay, I said, capping the pen. That's the matchup. Let's go play the song. The room became a lab. Notebook open. Sticky notes like confetti. 2 laptops. 3 pens. 1 chess clock you weren't going to use but kept on the table for intimidation. Rules of the solve. You said, clicking the pen like a judge's gavel. 1. We map windows, not turns. 2. Gas on equals silence. Gas off equals armor. 3. The bird is called Better Doeth, and that is canon. Echo saluted. You rolled the VODs. Every Atlas line got a color. Blue for buy sky. Amber for trades now, profit later. Red for refuses Terra even when it's right. A subway map started forming across the page. Loops and phase gates. Little station dots labeled Dragapult, Rillaboom, Gold, D-Night. You circled the ones that always connected. Pulp plus Rilla Tailwind Lane. Rilla trade to open gold. D-Night as pivot more than closer. Anchor lines, Echo said, and you gave a director his own page. Fake out buys a note, not the bar. Knockoff removes the amplifier first. Parting shot when gas is OFF, else it whiffs. Harper got a page titled Conducting. Will-O-Wisp the piece that carries tempo, not the piece that carries damage. Taunt equals stop the clock. Gleam only when it pushes 2 bars forward, not 1. Slack Queen's page had 3 words, underlined twice. Ghost. Pivot. Punish. Terra Ghost to step past fake out on your beat, not his. Protect on his loaf turn. Sucker Punch only when it controls his respect, not just his HP. Around midnight, the map sang back at you. Not a secret. A song. You could hear where Atlas would always prefer to breathe, where he'd rather hold and spend, where he'd rather spend and show you a tell. He's Clay Breaker, Echo murmured, tapping the board. He shapes your safe move into the wrong time. So we don't play safe, you said. We play right on time. You built contingencies for the things he hardly used today. Polypa rotates. Terra Water Gold 1 step earlier than habit. Early tailwind to change your gas toggle cadence. Every contingency had a small note. First 30 seconds of Game 3, reserved for sampling. You underlined it. Twice. By 2 in the morning, the whiteboard was a city. By 3, the chess clock was wearing your lanyard like a hat. At some point, Echo taped a sticky note to your lamp that just said, "Don't blink." He didn't have to explain it. You set 2 alarms, then a third, because you know yourselves. Echo clicked the laptop shut. The room exhaled. Tomorrow isn't today, you repeated, thinking of Atlas at the tram. Good. Echo said, already half asleep. We solved today. You lay there in the half-dark, the map still glowing behind your eyes like afterimage. Not a wall. A path. Somewhere in the hotel, a lift chimed. Somewhere closer, the chess clock ticked once. Purely for drama. Finals, you said into the pillow. We make it loud. Echo drowsy and on time. Morning came in on tiptoe. Thin light through hotel curtains. The kind that makes a desk look like a stage. Our whiteboard city from last night was still there. Blue bars for sky. Amber loops for trades. Red dots for danger. The chess clock wore the lanyard like a crown. Harper's ball sat in the middle of the map, like a conductor's baton. Echo woke first, read the wall without moving, and grinned. Still sings, he said. I sat up, and the map clicked back into place behind my eyes. The sticky note on the lamp, "Don't blink," looked smug and correct. We did the rituals that make finals day feel like a day and not a storm. Water, coffee. 2 stretches we pretend are yoga. 1 text from my mom that just said, "Echo, open the window." The city exhaled a canal cold breath over the notebooks. We ate the last half of last night's strip waffle to prove to fate that we weren't superstitious, which of course means we are. Finals rehearsal, Echo said, snapping the chess clock once. 30 seconds, retell the matchup like a story. No stats. Harper wears a fairy cloak. The dragons stop, I said. Gold smiles like a trap. We dress Harper in leaves and don't give Polypa the sky. The queen moves every turn, goes past fake out, erases a mask, shatters a coin, eats a dragon scales because we stole them first. The director strips the amplifier, quiets the room, and pulls curtains with parting shot whenever Good as Gold isn't listening. Socks only comes out if the sky is ours. The bird steals sky so the others can sing. Beat, Echo said, and the clock hit 0. Good show. We packed in silence, which wasn't really silence. It was rhythm, balls in belt order, spare pen, wristbands. The notebook with the subway map solved slid into my bag, heavier than paper. Elevator down, lobby hum. We crossed a marble like we'd rehearsed this walk 100 times. Outside, a tram sighed into the stop, and for a half-second I expected Atlas on the platform with a paper bag again. Instead, we got cold air and bike bells in a sky that couldn't decide on gray or blue. 20 minutes later, we were back in the venue's underbelly, a tangle of concrete and cables and volunteers whose feet knew the building better than the signs did. A staffer waved us toward the green room, handed over laminated slips like talismans. Final. Open team sheets were already up on the table when we walked in, printed clean and quiet. No surprises, just proof we hadn't dreamed the homework. Dragonite, Dragapult, Goldingo, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Pelipper. Across from them, our own 6 names looked like a roll call and a dare. Atlas arrived like a metronome, on time, unhurried. He gave us that same warm handshake as last night at the tram, the one that says competition and kindness can share a wrist. No words, just eyes that read and nod. We sat. Final checks. Headsets plugged in. Cords tamed into loops. A tech tested our screens. The cursor jittered like it had caffeine, then steadied. Echo squeezed my shoulder once and stepped toward the casting booth. Over the railing. The arena was a bowl of night with stars for seats. The big screen ran a sober countdown that made the world feel thin and precise. Last check, Echo said from 2 floors up, voice in my ear now. Profile lock isn't about turn 1. It's about staying solid between turns. If you feel him change tempos, don't cling to yesterday. Let the map rewrite. Copy, I said, then grinned. Map's got a pen. From here, the walk to the stage is only 20 steps, but it has more gravity than the rest of the building. You can hear the murmur harden into applause. The floor feels springy with sound. We lined up at the curtain. A stagehand lifted 3 fingers, then 2, then 1. We walked into blue gold. The cameras did their polite orbit. The LED stitched our names across glass. The lower bowl rose like surf. I found our little island. A table, 2 screens, 2 chairs, 1 laminated printout that read finals. Duivestin versus Atlas in a font that takes itself seriously. We locked in our 6 with the same order we've been tapping on the desk for a day. Harper Popeye, Slockween. The director, Better Doeth, Socks. Diary Master. Across the stage, Atlas's icon rose slid into place like a measured breath. Headset on, palms flat on the table, to feel the vibration of the room. Echo's voice threaded through the mix, calm, a smile you could hear. Welcome to the finals, he said to a million strangers and the 2 of us. This isn't prediction versus prediction anymore. This is composition. Whose song hold shaped the longest. Coin flip, we got our side. On the big screen, the leads appeared in 2 neat rectangles, bright enough to feel like daylight. I saw Rillaboom and Dragapult peel onto Atlas's field like the opening bar of a song we knew from memory. My thumb hovered over a Terra I'd already promised myself I wouldn't touch until it made a sentence. Harper, Slockween, I said out loud without needing to. The balls left my hand clean. The masks hit the field. Neutralizing gas slid over the arena like a dome of quiet. For a heartbeat, everything inside the dome was ours. The crowd, the light, the rhythm. Echo, play the chart. I smiled, small and certain, and reached for the first note. Game 1 starts and the nerves just aren't there. They've been swallowed by something heavier. Pressure. Not just beat my rival pressure. Avenge Echo pressure. Atlas eliminated my friend with surgeon level calm. I have to answer that. I lead Wheezing plus slaking into exactly what we expected. Rillaboom plus Dragapult. The dynamics are tight. Rillaboom threatens fake out into either slot. I could Terra Ghost Slockween to dodge it, but Atlas could read that and Shadow Ball my Terra Ghost for a KO. On the flip side, Slockween threatens huge damage into Rillaboom and a clean Sucker Punch KO on Dragapult. I go for the safest line. Sucker Punch into Dragapult and Will-O-Wisp toward their side. I don't Terra. Being weak to Shadow Ball here is awful, and I'm expecting Goldingo in the back. Thanks to Profile Lock, I know Atlas won't risk getting his fake out blanked by Ghost. So not terrassalizing is safe. Sure enough, Rillaboom fake out Harper, and Sucker Punch cleanly OHKO's Dragapult. Wheezing flinches for 7%. That's a massive exhale. One of his most important pieces gone for Chip. The solve sang on note 1. Atlas sends out Dragonite. Turn 2 is a page echo and I wrote for this exact scene. Double Edge into Rillaboom and status of Dragonite, so its damage gets halved. The turn starts. Dragonite moves first and puts up Tailwind. Slockween fires Double Edge. In testing, it KO'd Rillaboom 90% of the time. And this time it stops at 1%. Of course it does. I click Taunt into Dragonite to shut off any follow-ups. Then Rillaboom, hanging on, lands with Hammer and trades itself for my Slockween. Slockween drops to 6%, and Rillaboom feigns to recoil. Even trade on pieces. He has Tailwind. I have a support gone. We reset. Rillaboom is replaced by Goldingo. This is a knife edge. Make It Rain threatens Weezing, but Sucker Punch threatens Goldingo, unless he goes Terra Water. If he does, Sucker Punch is 50%, and he still gets a fire. My counter is Terra Grass on Harper to live the rain. I lock it. Harper Terra Grass plus Will-O-Wisp into Dragonite. Sucker Punch into Goldingo. Atlas matches me. Goldingo Terras to Water. Sucker Punch hits first for 50%. Make It Rain slams both, Slockween faints, and Harper drops to Citrus range and heals back to around 27%. Then Atlas shows a read that hurts. Dragonite Scale Shot targets my Nowgrass Weezing, connects multiple times, and Harper faints. In a single turn, I lose both Pokemon for 50% on gold. We're 2-2. I send out Dragapult plus Deflosion. Tailwind is still up for Atlas, so Goldingo and Dragonite move before me. The plan is simple. Survive this pass and collapse the board back to even. They go first. Goldingo's Shadow Ball chunks Deflosion, and Dragonite Scale Shot finishes it. Dragonite now at +2 speed, -2 defense. My Dragapult gets to act. Dragon Darts fires. One dart into Dragonite. The other dart KOs Goldingo. We land at the end state this whole mid-game spiraled toward my Dragapult versus his Dragonite. Tailwind is still up. Dragonite is faster and can KO me with Scale Shot before I can return Dragon Darts to the kill. On paper, I lose. I can feel the panic try to climb. He was supposed to be fixed. Profile Lock should be unstoppable, and I shove it down. There's one door left. Scale Shot is 90% accurate. Atlas clicks. Dragonite takes off. I look away. The crowd holds its breath. A beat too long. I look back, and there's no Dragonite in the sky. It missed. My Dragapult doesn't hesitate. Dragon Darts. 2 clean hits into a -2 defense dragon, and it falls. Game 1 is mine. No celebration. No yo un clinch. Because the handshake tells me everything. Atlas is already changing tempos. Profile Lock solved yesterday's Atlas. I'll have to solve today's in real time. I won game 1, but something felt off. It didn't feel like dominance. It felt like a coin that landed on my side. Then it clicked. We solved Atlas. But not this Atlas. He adapted mid-game. He adapted to my adaptation. If I want game 2 in the trophy, I have to adapt to his adaptation to my adaptation. What game 1 taught me, he won't take big risks early. He'll fake out the safe slot rather than risk Ghost Terra getting blanked. He respects early stability. Tailwind is his lifeline. He knows it, I know it. If he gets Tailwind, he can force trades back into parity. He won't donate Dragapult again. We identified Pult as a key piece. He let go turn 1. That was a one-time mistake. Expect more preservation or smarter Terra timing. When behind, he gets bold. The Scale Shot into my Fairy. Weezing after I Terra Grass wasn't luck. That was a read. He'll make aggressive predictions once he's chasing. Burning Dragonite matters. If Dragonite isn't burned, either Make It Rain KOs Harper or Dragonite Scale Shot racks up too much reliable damage. Especially after my Terra Grass. My adaptations for game 2 mirror the sky. I'll bring Tailwind to invalidate his Tailwind. Force neutral speed states instead of playing from behind. Cycle Intimidate. Incineroar comes to dampen Rillaboom and Dragonite. If we ever get Harper on the field, Ability Shield lets Intimidate still land even under neutralizing gas. Close with the core, don't open with it. Keep Weezing plus Slakey in the back. Let them enter a simplified board where Sucker Punch is lethal and Double Edge picks the last trade. Bait is Terra early. Show pressure that forces Terra Water on Goldingo or Terra Fire on Dragapult before Slockween arrives. If his Terra is spent, Sucker Punch and Double Edge clean. Status first, damage second. Prioritize Will-O-Wisp on Dragonite. If Harper must Terra Grass to deliver rain, do it deliberately, not by reflex. Resource tracking. Count tailwind turns like oxygen. Protect citrus timing. Look for a safe knockoff window on Goldingo to turn its numbers honest. Likely plan. Lead Kilowattrel plus Incineroar. Keep wheezing plus slaking the back for the endgame. If preview screams Dragapult aggression, consider Incineroar plus Dragapult as a tempo lead, but the goal stays the same. Burn the dragon, drain the sky, and bring the queen to a board she can rule. All of this assumes Atlas hasn't adapted even further, which he probably has. Good. That's the game. The stage lights breathe. The crowd's a low ocean. I roll my shoulders and tell myself the same thing I always do. Solve what's in front of you. Atlas opens Rillaboom plus Goldingo. Solid, low-risk tempo. I bring Incineroar plus Kilowattrel. Tailwind versus Tailwind. But the first turn is a whole thesis. Rillaboom threatens Fake Out. I've watched Atlas enough to know he won't gamble on a ghost read in the opening. So I flip it. Better do if color shift. Kilowattrel terastallizes into Ghost. Fake Out proof. If he plays safe, he eats air. Across the field, Goldingo's mass tilts. Then it protects. Rillaboom lashes a Fake Out forward. Straight through my bird and hits nothing but air. My monitor flashes a teal wave. Tailwind on my side goes up. Incineroar's knockoff clacks into Goldingo's barrier and skates off. No damage, but we've drawn his shield and kept all our pieces intact. Perfect parchment. Now right on it. Turn 2, Atlas adjusts. The cheese string shine darkens. Terra Water. My cursor taps air slash into Rillaboom, chip and flinch equity. It takes 60% wincing. Then the water mass turns toward my bird and fires a shadow ball through neon. Kilowattrel explodes a focus sash, hanging by thread. I keep tempo anyway. Parting shot into Rillaboom, pivoting the director out to bring in the queen. The animation whips. Slocqueen lands with a thud. Rillaboom, battered, refuses to sit still. It U-turns, finishing Kilowattrel, and Atlas calls in Dragonite to a brief, polite boo from the crowd. I replace the bird with Incineroar again. The camera catches the tiny dip in Dragonite's shoulders as Intimidate lands. All predictable. All fine. Turn 3 is a knife's edge. Atlas needs Tailwind. I can't let him have it. Without neutralizing gas on the field, Multiscale is live. If I don't break it, he gets his win no matter what. So I aim for the only line that can deny it outright. Fake out the now water Goldingo and double-edged Dragonite. The timing is perfect. Fake out cracks against Goldingo's mask. It flinches. Slocqueen throws its whole body forward. Double Edge detonates against Dragonite's chest. The HP bar falls and stops at 44%. I feel the mistake like a headache blooming. No gas, Multiscale's intact. Dragonite blinks, opens its wings, and Tailwind howls behind Atlas's side. And there it is, a cast of murmurs. The crowd swells. Turn 4 is ugly before it starts. My Tailwind clock is low. Slocqueen is one step from loafing. If I swap in wheezing to re-enable my core, I'm throwing a fairy in to make it rain. If I stay, I waste my last tempo turns doing nothing. Atlas wants me defensive. He wants me scared. Don't be predictable. I make a read. Atlas won't make it rain here. He'll expect my fear, expect parting shot, expect me to hide behind the loaf. He'll set nasty plot, and he'll scale shot Slocqueen to force the loaf into a checkmate. So I punish the defensive line he expects. The director to the bench. Incineroar Harper Popeye. Neutralizing gas rolls out over the field like a pale aurora. Slocqueen tightens a fist and throws sucker punch at Dragonite. And the dome pays off, Multiscale is gone. The punch lands. Dragonite drops before it can move. I exhale, already seeing the next move, until Goldingo turns and says, "No." Make It Rain erupts, steel confetti like a storm. Wheezing is erased, and Slocqueen clings to 1%. The crowd roars. Atlas replaces Dragonite with Rillaboom. I redrop Incineroar into the empty space. And then my Tailwind ends. The sky belongs to Atlas again. This is horrible. I hear myself say, not out loud. On the HUD, numbers don't blink, they grin. Turn 5 is a dead page. Slocqueen is loafing. Incineroar is staring down fake out plus nasty plot. I've got no clean punish. Rillaboom slaps the director across the whiskers. Goldingo smiles and plots. Everyone breathes grassy terrain and recovers a touch. The green fades. The advantage doesn't. Turn 6 is my last chance to make the board honest again. Slockween can act this turn. Rillaboom can't protect, and Goldingo probably will. So I ignore the mask and slam the ape. Goldingo protects. Sucker Punch rips 36% off Rillaboom, down to 10%. With Hammer answers, Slockween falls. Knockoff cleans Rillaboom off the field. We land in an endgame that looks simple because it is. Dragapult strolls in beside a +2 Goldingo. My Incineroar is alone. The casters don't hype it. They don't need to. Draco Meteor and Make It Rain hit like punctuation. The director drops. The crowd lets it out in one long shout. Atlas evens the set. I sit back in the chair, staring at the empty arena, and count the places he adapted. He protected on the exact turn my tempo needed a hit to land. He teared early to secure a mid-game, not a blowout. He preserved Rillaboom just long enough to break my tailwind mirror. He read the wheezing switch and called it with the one line I thought he wouldn't take. He turned my plan, status first, damage second, into a liability. I press my palms together and feel my pulse return to normal. Profile lock solved yesterday's Atlas. Game 1 proved that. Game 2 just proved he's already moved. Okay, I whisper. Then I move, too. The camera catches Atlas across the stage. He doesn't celebrate. He just nods once to himself, as if acknowledging a position on a chessboard nobody else can see. The casters reset their energy. The crowd leans forward again. 1-1. One more to write. Here's what Game 2 taught me. Atlas won't be what I expect, exactly when I expect it. So profile lock resets, blank slate, brand new opponent. I'm already in the chair. Palms on the desk, cursor hovering over lock-in, arena lights pulsing like a heartbeat. And then I feel it, that click, not nerves, not pressure. Echo, not in my headset, but in my head like our notes, jokes, and reps have stitched a quiet channel between us. I can hear the rhythm without words. Echo in my head, no pass reads, solve now. Me, copy, 2 brains, 1 board. We don't need speeches. We've practiced this so much that our lines auto-complete each other. I call it ultimate move. 2v1, not coaching, just the kind you earn after 100 late nights. When I see a line, Echo snaps the safety on it. When he sees a trap, I thread the gap. The crowd is a hush. The ref's hand is up. The countdown burns. I'm not here fighting Atlas alone. It's me plus Echo versus the problem in front of us. I tap lock in. The final game begins. The stage hums. The floorboards carry the crowd like a low tide. I'm already in the chair. Hands find home keys. Breath finds tempo. I don't hear Echo in my headset. Can't, but I hear him anyway, folded into the muscle memory. Echo. No pass reads. Solve now. Me. 2 brains, 1 board. We show Kilowatt Rule plus Dragapult. Atlas shows Goldingo plus Dragonite. I clock the shape in one glance. Pure tempo on both sides. His Dragonite threatens Tailwind and the avalanche that follows. His Goldingo threatens to cash that speed into Make It Rain. Mine threatens a different kind of time control, Phantom Force. Turn 1 the plan sketches itself. Disappear before the wind rises. I click Phantom Force into Goldingo and, this is the scary part, I yank Kilowattrel off the board and throw Harper Popeye into the slot. Gas sighs across the arena like someone turned down the oxygen. The masks dim. Passes blink out. Echo. He won't reign here. Me. Copy. My Dragapult vanishes. The camera loses it. The crowd loses it. Goldingo's Shadow Ball loses it. Dragonite does what it must and throws up Tailwind. No damage taken. Exactly the rhythm we wanted. Gone before the gale matters. Turn 2 Atlas pivots. Dragonite Dragapult. Sliding fresh pressure under his wind. Goldingo pops Terra Water. The mask turns blue. Edges harder. I put Protect on Harper. We're scouting and keeping gas for the future. Make It Rain detonates, loud and empty, Harper blocks, and Dragapult isn't here to be hit. Then I drop from the ceiling. Phantom Force lands square into Terra Water Goldingo. The health bar falls like a curtain, roughly 3/4 gone. Not lethal, but the point is made. Terra is spent and the mask is cracked. I breathe. The wind is ticking. The board is opening. Turn 3. I need Harper later. Atlas's Dragapult is hungry now, and I know where that Shadow Ball wants to go. I pull Harper Kilowattrel to keep gas in my pocket for the endgame. Atlas doesn't hesitate. Shadow Ball erases my Dragapult in one clean stroke. Then Make It Rain splashes into Bird and drives it to Focus Sash. It's messy, but it's planned messy. Me to the belt, Your Majesty. I send out Slot Queen. The Hall of Queens doesn't stand. She simply arrives. Turn 4 Atlas still has one more gust of wind in the banners. His Dragapult is faster. His mask can still throw coins. I can try to stitch up my own speed with the Bird, but Echo cuts through the static. Echo, it's Atlas. Don't expect anything. Cover attack. Me, Sucker Punch. Slot Queen doesn't posture. She strikes. Sucker Punch catches Dragapult on the wind and deletes it instantly. The crowd spikes, sharp, surprised. Goldingo punishes the Bird with Make It Rain. Better Do It finally drops, and the Queen eats a slab of damage, but my side of the board is what I wanted. No Tailwind, no Dragapult, and the path to an endgame we know by heart. Atlas fills the slot with Rillaboom. I bring Harper back. Gas settles over everything again, quiet and heavy. 2 Pokemon to 3 sounds bad on paper, but these 2 aren't paper. They're ours. Harper, our small problem child who turns off entire ecosystems. Slot Queen, the one queen who never skips a turn. Turn 5 Rillaboom threatens Fake Out into Slot Queen to buy the Mask of Breath. That's the entire point of our Ghost Terra. I feel the adrenaline hit. Green light. Slot Queen terastallizes Ghost. The Spectral Crown clicks into place. Rillaboom swings and hits nothing. Atlas tries to reset the sky. Goldingo Dragonite. And that's the invite. With gas on the field, there's no multi-scale to hide behind. Double Edge erupts. Dragonite goes from full to gone. The recoil savages Slot Queen. She staggers the brink, but still upright. On the other side, Harper flicks a match. Will-O-Wisp catches Rillaboom. The ape hisses, risks smoking. And Atlas brings a mask back. Goldingo returns to face us. Low, blue and cornered. Turn 6 the path is straight. If the mask falls, Harper can clean the burned ape alone. I put Protect on Harper. No need to risk, and point Slot Queen's glove at the mask. One more Sucker Punch for the last 6%. The mask cracks and shatters. Rillaboom answers with a grassy glide, just enough to flick Slot Queen for a final 2%. Our queen drops like a performer taking a bow. Curtain for the MVP. And now the stage is quiet, the dome of gas still humming, and it's Harper versus a burned Rillaboom. Turn 7. 10 Rillaboom throws itself forward with a hammer again. And again, Poison typing shrugged the damage. The burn eats the ape from the inside. Recoil bites its heels every time it swings. Harper does Harper things. No drama, no rush, just dazzling gleam after dazzling gleam. 18%, 19%, 20%. Each number lands like a metronome click. The crowd folds into the rhythm. On the last exchange, Rillaboom tries to pivot with U-turn, desperate for a breath that isn't coming. Harper catches it with one final gleam. A tiny crit to write the period, and the ape slumps. The ref's arm slices the air. The screen flashes. That's it. I don't pop up or throw my hands. I just sit there and let the sound rush over me while the dome of gas thins to nothing. Across the stage, Atlas meets my eyes and nods once. The same nod from the start, now edged with respect. I nod back. My hand finds 2 balls at my belt and taps them one after the other. Good job, Harper. Good job, Slot Queen. We didn't win on a read from yesterday. We solved this board this minute, 2 brains, 1 board, and a queen who never loafed. They dimmed the stage and let the screen glow do the talking while we stood there, catching our breath. One by one, The 6 poke balls at my belt fell heavier, not with weight but with story, so I gave each of them a quiet bow. Harper Popeye first. You never shouted. You muted the room. Every time you drifted out and that pale wash of neutralizing gas rolled over the field, the match turned from chaos into chess. You took chip, taunts, awkward double targets, and turned all of it into time for us. If we're a band, you were the sound engineer who made the whole set work. Slot Queen next, our chain breaker. The number in the calc that makes chat type in all caps. You taught us that unusable is just a puzzle, and that with the right friend taking off the shackles, a queen can swing every single turn. You scare me half to death at 2% and still found the line. Queens don't loaf, at least not when Harper's in the room. Better do it floated in my mind like a paper plane with jets. You didn't always live long, but you always lived right. 1 tailwind on time, 1 volt switch on rhythm, 1 rude Terra ghost that made fake-out high-five empty air. You were our midnight laughter. The chair skidding across the studio floor, proof that not meta can still be heartbeat. Socks, the phantom in the doorway. You vanished exactly when we needed to, reappeared exactly when a hit needed to land. Sometimes you were a sword. Sometimes you were a turn we stole from the clock. In the finals, you gave us the opening, and then stepped aside, so the queen could take the stage. That's trust one won't forget. Diaria Master, yes, the name is cursed, yes, we're keeping it. You were the red button. When the field was messy and the pieces were scattered, you walked on, stared at the scoreboard, and pressed eruption like it was a punchline. Not every matchup let you sing, but when they did, the whole arena lit up. Also, thanks to the running joke, we needed those. And the director, Incineroar with the clipboard and headset. You kept the tempo sane. You took the hits nobody else could, pointed scenes in the right direction, and even gave us a Greek tragedy in the semis with that accidental ghost Terra. It hurt. It also sharpened us. That's what directors do. They make the story better, even when it stings. Backstage, the quiet was too bright. Atlas met me halfway down the corridor. No stage lights, no cameras, just 2 tired people who'd pushed each other to the edge. Congratulations, he said, clean and simple. Thank you, I said, for not letting me win yesterday. A corner of his mouth moved. Profile lock, He tapped his temple. Clever. But you didn't bring yesterday's answer. No, I said, we brought today's. He nodded once, respect, earned and returned. Good. Keep it sharp. I've already thrown out my notes. Of course you have. We both laughed, just enough to break the tension. He turned to go, then glanced back. Don't keep me waiting too long. Wouldn't dream of it. When I finally made it back to the apartment, an envelope was leaning against the door. No stamp, no sender, just a tiny hand-drawn sigil in neat black ink. Echo invites you to their gym. House rules inside. I held it up. Echo raised an eyebrow. Somewhere in the city, a neon sign seemed to hum itself awake. 3 days later, a message pinged on my phone. A clip bracket you couldn't quite read, and a single line from Atlas, new music. Different stage. The cursor blinked in the reply field. I didn't have to think. We'll bring the whole orchestra. I set the phone down and looked at the 6 poke balls on the desk. Good job, Harper, I said. Good job, Slot Queen. All of you. Then I glanced at Echo, grin already halfway up my face. Finale, he asked. Nah, I said. That was the end of Act 1. See you at the next symphony.